Can you hear me? Oh my God. Okay, so I changed my, wait a minute. Hold on. Everybody hold on. Okay, don't don't do anything. I changed my setup and I fucked it up. Cuz now I can't reach anything. Oh yeah, no, fuck Morning Joe. Fuck Morning Joe. Wait, I have to fix this camera. Okay, can you hold on just a second? And I will. Okay, just understand that I'm like an idiot, okay? I'm an idiot. I'm trying to figure out I fuck this up so bad. I can't like it's just the physical configuration. See, I don't even know where the camera is. No, I do know where the camera is. That's not true. Hold on. Don't leave me. This is hard. Okay. Well, that's good enough. I don't even have my coffee yet. Oh, now my chair's all tied up. I don't even have my coffee yet. And my computer's all weird. I got a cat behind me. Wait, I did. Oh, yeah, there I do. Oh, this is this terrible camera setup. Okay, we're going to have to fix this. I'm not sure how we're going to fix it, but that's fine. We're going to fix it. Let's see. How can I fix it? I guess I don't think I can. I don't think I can fix it for this show. So we'll just have to kind of be like, hi. You know what I could do? This. I can bring you right over here. So I'm staring at you right in the face. Oh my God, that's a little too much, Lolo. What the hell? I'm a little too close now. This is crazy. This lady's crazy. I still don't have my coffee. It's in the kitchen. Oh, my face is too big. Ooh, yucky poo poo. I don't like a big face like that. Who put her big face like that? Oh my God. Wait, okay. I know if I do that, see, it's not really. All right, it's fine. You know what? My face is my face. Only good thing on Morning Joe was the former United States Deputy Secretary of State saying what Jim's been saying about the Technate. Yes. Boasberg hearing on Signalgate at 4 p.m. today. I know, Teresa. I saw that. You posted that. That's insane. That is good. Yeah. It's 9:30 here and haven't had my tea or breakfast making oatmeal. Oh, God, I love oatmeal. Can I just tell you how much I love oatmeal? I love oatmeal. I really do. I need to be closer to this microphone. Okay, what I need to do is go get my coffee. Can you guys handle something while I go get my coffee? Hold on. Let me just see if there's anything I can do to make it more enjoyable while you're here. Hold on. I'm not even ready. I was so busy trying to get like shit ready that it just didn't work out very well. Okay. Hold on. I'm sorry my face is so close. I feel like that's really a bad idea. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it is. Let's see. We could do that. All right. Let's see if there's something you can watch while Oh wait, I know. I have all this watch later stuff. I could really, like I do curate stuff for us to watch. Okay. That's 20 minutes. No. Now all of a sudden the things I clipped are like, man, that's not that exciting. Oh, actually, I want to kind of, maybe I should do this for tomorrow though.
Project 2020.
I wonder. Yeah, I'm going to do that one for tomorrow. I don't want to that actually is good for the economics one. I have such a great show planned for you guys tomorrow. I hope nothing really weird happens. Let's see. My playlist and my wake and bake. And do I have anything interesting there? Probably. Ah! Go away.
Really preserving the status quo.
Stop. Yeah, I know. I had you teed up too. Do. God, all I have is old stuff. Okay, no problem. Let Let me just go get my coffee. I'll BRB. Enjoy some music. Here we go. We'll do some music. Hold on. We'll do some music. And where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, BRB. Hopefully you can hear that. Old time music. Can you hear it? I'm gonna go get coffee. I know. I'm just trying to turn my camera off so I don't like show you my butt. I don't want to show you my butt. I'm wearing pajamas. Come on. I gotta move this camera up. Doodly-doo-doo. Doodly-doo-dee-doo-doo-dee-doo. Doo-doo-doo. BRB. Okay, bye. Bye, music. Bye, cute throwback music. You're so cute. You get a tariff and you get a tariff. Oh, Badger. Oh, what are we doing? Oh my god, this camera is just way too close. I'm so sorry, everybody. Like, really. You just need my big fat head in there? All right, well, we're just gonna have to deal with it for today. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Wait, here we go. Where is it? There we go. This is Spirit. Fuck it. We'll do it live. First, I'm gonna pour myself some coffee. Well, really? Oh god. That's so nice of you, but it's so like something's going on right now with my skin. I have psoriasis, I have psoriatic arthritis. So my skin does weird things like try to grow a lot of skin, to compensate. Oops, I should get rid of. We don't need to do it live. We are doing it live, dick. Oh, I know. This could be a little more. A little more. Let's get Farrah Fawcett in there. Anyway. Oopsie. Oh, this is so not gonna. You know what it is? My microphone is. Its path is hindered. Anyway, God, I'm having a hard time looking at myself that close up. Good morning. Good morning. You've been dieting for more than a year. 55 pounds? Karen, that's fucking fantastic. Congratulations. Congratulations. I think that's really great. I need to fix this. Let's see. What was I going to say? Good morning. Good Thursday morning. Good Thursday morning. Let me take a sip of coffee. See if it improves. Hold on. Good morning, Gal. Good morning, Easily Distracted. Good morning, Jane. Good morning. Give me coffee. Iggy was first on the scene. Val's here. Badger, Badger, Badger. Teresa. All my sisters with me. Yeah. We are family. Ooh, Ezekiel bread is so good. God, I love that stuff. I do. I love it. I love it. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Let me tell you. Oh, this is definitely not going to work. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, this is going to be weird. Just hold on. I can't see my computer. Okay, there we go. I know. This is going to be so weird. Descend into anarchy. What? Who's descending into anarchy? What the? Let's see. What did I have planned for this? Oops. Shh. So what did I have planned for this day? Oh, Usha's going. Oh, here, foreign affairs. Okay, hold on. Let me see what's going on with that. We should fight crime, not conservatives. Interesting. The internet. Wait, INL. What's House Committee on Foreign Affairs? INL should fight crime, not conservatives. This is terrible. Hold on. Oh, I know. I know what I can do. Hold on. Oh. Oh. Wait, no, that's not working. Oh. This is my fault. This is user error. This is self-inflicted wounds right now. Is what you're seeing. What you're seeing right now is a self-inflicted wound. I decided that I was going to be cute and try to do something, and it ended up being really stupid. So there you go. Okay. This camera's really bothering me. Let me just move that way. There. That's a little better. I'm like super low. Could I have done this last night? Yeah, I could have. I could have done this last night. That's okay. It'll be one of these shows. You have to be this way. There. All right. So I have INL. I don't know what INL is. What the hell is INL? What in the hell is INL? Does anybody know? International something? Naval law? I don't know. Who's fighting conservatives and not like whatever they're supposed to be fighting? Oh, wait, here we go. Oh no, it's not really a her. It's not a her thing. I was looking to see if we have so is Usha going to Greenland today or is that like another day? Hi Tom, how are you? Who did I miss? I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Just say good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So there is quite a few things that we could. Oh, did they cancel her trip? Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay. Well, that makes sense because I did hear that what's his name? JD's going to go with her now. Which, is probably smart, right? Like it's probably smart that he actually is there. That kind of makes sense. You don't think they got sent away? Oh, really? Excellent. I'm all out of whack here. Let me see if do 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 boop. Okay. What? No, I have access, you idiot. Okay. Let's see if there's anything. Mass layoffs announced at Health and Human Services Department. I'm reading from the New York Times. New York Times. Ugh, sorry, I'm gonna be like a little bit of a wonky girl today. Oopsie. Let's do this. All right, Val, I'm no longer in the desert, Tom, but I'd be just to make sure that I do the vids. I'm not good at organizing groups. I'm not either. Tom, Lola was going to leave the room for a minute to get her coffee. I joked that we would descend into anarchy while she's gone. Or maybe it was a more effective moment. So there could be that. There could be that. Okay, let's see. The New York Times. Yeah. Mass layoffs announced at the Health and Human Services Department. The Trump administration announced. Here's the thing. These announcements are like, uh, they just want to be so fucking scary, right? They're just, oh, I want to do Tai Chi. God damn, that sounds so much fun. We should do Tai Chi one day. So 10,000 would be dismissed as part of a reorganization by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy. Does he have a brain to even think about what he wants to cut? Wait, what'd you guys both type? I read they went door to door asking if people wanted her to visit and they said no. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? I know he is a brainworm. Why did they do that? That's crazy. Not sure about a brain. He's a worm. Not sure about a brain. Oh my god. You guys are way more awake than I am. This is great. Okay, let's see. Here's the thing that I've been screaming, and of course is going to end up being, unfortunately, all the shit that I scream that is bad ends up being sort of right. And I'm not taking credit for it by any stretch. It's not hard to see what they're trying to do. But Consumer Bureau asked to undo settlement and oh my god. Okay, hold on. Let me uh the Consumer Bureau seeks to undo a settlement and repay a mortgage lender. Let me show you this one. Hold on. I need a new mouse. I need a new mouse. My mouse is not healthy. Yeah. Okay, this is from New York Times today. I hate these guys so much. I can't tell you how much I hate these men. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau wants to return a $105,000 penalty it collected last fall when it resolved a discrimination lawsuit. Oh, look! It's Russ Vogt. That's right. The acting director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau criticized the case against Townstone Financial, which the agency had brought during President Trump's first term. Under President Trump, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has dropped nearly a dozen enforcement cases brought during the Biden administration, ending lawsuits against banks and lenders for a variety of financial practices that the watchdog agency no longer considers illegal. I'm going to read that again. Ending lawsuits against banks and lenders for a variety of financial practices that the watchdog agency no longer considers illegal. Bobby Jr. may be drug-induced psychosis case. Oh, yeah, really? He needs to just blow up on stage then, because I'm sick of like, oh, he's really crazy. Oh my God, watch out for him. Well, unless he has a fucking meltdown in the middle of the Easter egg roll, I don't care. I'm just kidding. Oh, but on Wednesday, hold my beer, Russ Vogt said it's going to give back the $105,000 that a mortgage lender paid to settle racial discrimination claims last fall. I don't think I can actually hate this administration more than I do. And hate is absolutely the word. Because here's what I've been screaming about and what is fucking happening, and I'm so angry about it, is that all of the stuff that's happening right now, all this stuff, is being put into law by the Congress. Day after day after day after day. Day after day, those little rule sessions that I talk about, those markup sessions, are where the meat of the matter is happening, and they're codifying all of the damage that they're doing. They're codifying it so that it is very difficult, if not, I don't know if it's impossible to unwind, obviously. I don't really necessarily have enough evidence to know that, but it certainly does things like this. And it's intended to completely unwind anything good done. Any discrimination case, any environmental case, like all of that. If we ever get a chance to elect someone to unwind it, which I have such a hard time, believing, I have such a hard time believing that would be, that would happen. But here we are. All the things I didn't think really could happen are happening. So I guess I'm wrong. Wow. But on Wednesday, okay, so in an especially strange twist, the case against Townstone Financial, a small Chicago-based lender, was brought during the Trump's first term by Kathleen Kraninger, the director he appointed to run the Consumer Bureau. Russell Vogt, who became the agency's acting director last month, said it had used radical equity arguments to tag Townstone as racist with zero evidence and spent years persecuting and extorting them. We're crying. They're mean. In a filing asking the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois to set aside the settlement it approved in November, the Bureau said it had found significant undisclosed problems in its handling of the lawsuit, which the new leadership called an unmerited complaint that violated defendants' First Amendment free speech rights to discriminate. The case began in 2020 when the Consumer Bureau accused Townstone of redlining and breaking fair lending laws by discouraging residents in majority black neighborhoods from applying for its housing loans. It honed in on comments made during the company's radio show and podcast, the Townstone Financial Show, saying they were intended to rebuff black borrowers or those seeking to buy homes in certain neighborhoods. Show guest and host, including Barry Sterner, Townstone's chief executive, described Chicago's South Side as a, quote, jungle and a, quote, war zone that became a, quote, hoodlum hive on weekends. Does he spend a lot of time there or something? So how does he know? How does he have such an intimate knowledge of the neighborhood and its goings about? You have to go. Oh, bye, Tom. See you later. It might be a short one today. I don't know what we've got on tap for today. Oh, I actually have to leave early or not early, but I have to leave in like 3 hours or 2 hours. So I only have a couple hours this morning anyway before I have to go do something. Okay. Statistical analysis of Townstone's mortgage loan application showed that it drew far fewer from majority black neighborhoods than its lending peers, the agency said. Federal court in Chicago dismissed the Bureau's lawsuit in 2023, ruling that Equal Credit Opportunity Act protected only actual loan applicants, not prospective ones. But the Bureau appealed the decision, and a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit reversed it, finding that the law did protect prospective applicants for credit. Yeah, because that's kind of the point. It's kind of hard if you're going to be racist during the actual approval or actual, if you're not. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't speak this morning. When Townstone settled the case, Mr. Sterner said he had done so to avoid the cost and toll of continuing the legal fight. My family and I are relieved to finally put this nightmare behind us, he said in a statement. Mr. Sterner's lawyer joined the Consumer Bureau in asking the federal court to vacate the settlement deal. Now, we know that the CFPB knew or should have known that it had no case and targeted Townstone for its speech, said Steve Simpson, a lawyer at the Pacific Legal Foundation, which represents Mr. Sterner. Justice demands that this settlement be vacated. The White House did not respond to a request for comment. Christine Chen Zinner, a senior lawyer at Americans for Financial Reform, a progressive advocacy group, called the Consumer Bureau's attempt to overturn the settlement banana cakes. Banana cakes, Craig Unger. Is he? I love Craig. Craig Unger is putting together a new project titled the Trump-Russia Timeline Project Substack post. Fabulous. Good morning, butterflies. Check out more declassification of Crossfire hurricane files. Really? Oh, cool. I want to do that. Also needs to have a butt disassembly from ketamine use to get his money out of politics, Iggy. Yes. I just want his butt out of politics. I just want a butt disassembly. I need to have a butt disassembly. I want one of those. How do I get one of those? Does it hurt? No. He needs to take a rocket elsewhere. Yeah, he needs to, like, K-hole. He needs to fall deeper into the K-hole, okay? Deep, deep, deep into the K-hole. And never come back. And take all his little bros with him. I don't know. Do you notice that they're trying to, I noticed that they're trying to put Hegseth on the line for this, like, fuck up. But do you notice that they are talking, but Mike Waltz put the damn journalist on the thing. Like, it should be Mike Waltz. I know Pete Hegseth is an idiot, but Mike Waltz is the one who broke the fucking whatever. Oh, I'm on Top Chat. I'm on Top Chat. Remember to be on live chat. Hi, Gimme Coffee. Who did I miss? Karen. I missed everybody. I'm all thrown off by my stupid setup. Okay. Ugh. Okay. Called the Consumer Bureau's attempt to overturn the settlement banana cakes. I love you, Christine. The appellate panel's unanimous decision that the fair lending law applied was a clear signal that the case had merit, she said. Literally dropping the settlement sends a clear green light to businesses that discriminatory conduct is acceptable, she said. They all lied under oath. Yeah, exactly. Mike Waltz is, unless he meant to do that, which I'm not sure that he didn't mean to do that. Okay, this is my spicy take. My spicy take is Mike Waltz was like, I gotta leak this somehow. This is a great example of the incompetence of this administration. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Mike just was like, oh, did I do that? Oh. He must have hacked my phone when we were having sex in the back of the margarita bar. Yeah, exactly. Norbert Michel, this director of Center for Monetary and Financial Alternatives at the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank, praised the Consumer Bureau's about face, citing the lawsuit's focus on racial disparities between Townstone's mortgage origination statistics and other lenders. Mr. Michael Michel or something wrote on social media, government agencies should not be in this business. It is not accurate to call it regulation. What? Government agencies should not be in the business of ensuring people's rights are protected? I think that's actually their only job. But thank you. Thank you for playing our game. Dummies. Yeah. Iggy. Oh, wait. Iggy the detective. I spent 2 hours. Oh, God. Iggy and her Venmo tracking. Let me tell you, I was around when the Venmo records. I was around for that. My God, these women went through all the Venmo records of Matt Gaetz. Mike Waltz also had his Venmo. Yeah, okay, so Mike Waltz, they all lied through Venmo with payments from reporters? Which reporters? Wait, which reporters? Holy shitballs. Which reporters? Mike Waltz, Venmo. Mike Waltz left his friends list public. Huh. He's gone. He's gone. Boop. Boop. Good morning, Lee. These tariffs are ridiculous. No details of how they'll be enforced. Good times. I was so thinking about you yesterday, Lee. I wish we were kind of all together for that conference where he talked about the tariffs, and stuff like that. This is so crazy. I think after I do this, I want to look at what he announced for tariffs. Let's talk about, we're going to do an economic show tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. So we'll save some of it for that. But it really is kind of fucking amazing. Oh God. Here we go. Sorry, everybody. All right, so this is Newsweek. Mike Waltz under fire after leaving Venmo list public. What to know? I'm sorry, this is such a janky website. All right, hold on.
They used a app, if you want to call it an
app
that a lot of people use, a lot of people in government use, a lot of people in the media use. This certainly will look at this, but the main thing was nothing happened. The attack was totally successful. It was, I guess, from what I understand,
well, not totally.
Took place during, and it wasn't classified information. So this was not classified. Now, if it's classified information, it's probably a little bit different. And I think we're going to look at, we always want to use the best technology. This was the best technology for the moment.
Wow, but he really makes up shit.
It wasn't classified, so they probably viewed it as being
he makes up
that
shit.
Wasn't that important. And it obviously, with the attack being, I mean, I don't know if it's been read out to you yet, but that attack was a tremendous success for the U.S. A tremendous success.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you. President Trump's national security advisor, Mike Waltz, is under fire after it was reported that a list of friends on Venmo was public until Wednesday afternoon. Wired reported on Wednesday that an account with the name Michael Waltz, bearing a profile picture with Waltz in it, included a public 328-person friend list. Members on the list ranged from journalists to colleagues in the Trump administration, including White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. What's he paying her for? And National Security Council. What the hell was that? What the fuck? Oh, you guys are bullshit. Fuck you, Newsweek. God, I hate this. I hate websites. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see. Wired reported Wednesday that an account with the name Michael Waltz, bearing a profile picture with Waltz in it, included a 328-person friend list. Members on the list range from journalists to colleagues in the Trump administration, including White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and National Security Council staffer Walker Barrett. White House declined to comment on to Wired, but the magazine reported that the accounts appeared to belong to Waltz, and Wiles went private after the magazine's inquiry. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on Fox News on Wednesday night that Trump absolutely has confidence in his national... Well, that's fine. You can say whatever you want, bitch. Nobody believes you. Waltz follows a male porn account. That might be the best thing about him, actually, if you think about it. Elbows up. PM Carney said the Canadian government anticipated the car tariffs and has started programs to protect auto workers. Gosh, I hope so. I really do. Waltz is already embattled after the Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg reported on Monday that Waltz appeared to have added him to a Signal chat that included 18 senior Trump administration officials discussing planning for a strike against Houthi targets in Yemen. The Trump administration offered shifting explanations for how Goldberg was added to the chat, but during an interview Tuesday night with Fox News Channel's Ingraham Angle, Waltz said he built the Signal group chat and that he takes full responsibility. Wow. That's pretty dumb. Okay. While the stunning security lapse sparked alarm and calls for an investigation, the Trump administration has downplayed it and insisted that no classified information was posted to the chat. Ow. The Atlantic on Wednesday released the entire Signal chat. And showing defense, it left out the corn. Oh, that's so interesting. I see it. While the stunning security lapse, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait. The dump is the Atlantic. Okay, the Atlantic on Wednesday released the entire Signal chat, showing Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, hold my beer, provided the exact timings of warplane launches when bombs would drop. I don't think it doesn't get any more planny than that. Okay? It doesn't. Meanwhile, German outlet Der Spiegel also reported on Wednesday that it had found phone numbers, email addresses, and in some cases passwords belonging to Waltz, Hegseth, and the director of the National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. None of the Venmo transactions for the accounts listed for Waltz, Wiles, or Barrett were publicly visible, according to Wired, but all three had apparently not opted out of allowing their friends list from being available to the public. Walt's list of friends, published in full by the American Prospect, included a number of journalists and media personalities, including Fox News' Brian Kilmeade and Bret Baier, and CNN's Brianna Keilar and Kristen Holmes. Conspiracy theorist Ivan Raiklin. Make sure you have all messages chosen and not just top. Yeah, make sure you're on live chat. Conspiracy and small-minded man Ivan Raiklin, who has called himself the Secretary of Retribution and keeps a list of Trump's deep state enemies, was also one of Waltz's Venmo friends. Oh, why would they need to be on a thing together? I wonder. Why? What would he be paying him for margaritas for? Did they split a salad? Small and small-minded. Well, he's not really small. I mean, he's 5'7", but not as small as I thought he was. He looks smaller, though. He's diminutive. Diminutive in kind of stature, if you will. Lee says, Neil, North American Auto needs to unite against this tyranny. This will cycle across Midwest U.S. as well as Canada. It's true. It's so true. 100% OPSEC. OPSEC, what was it? OPSEC is secure. Or OPSEC achieved. What people are saying. Political commentator Brian Krasenstein. Oh, is that what we're calling him now? Is that what we're calling him now? Okay. Mike Waltz, the guy who let Jeffrey Goldberg into the Signal chat, also had his Venmo contact set to public. When the press reached out, he deleted them immediately. Here's the list before he wiped it. These are people Waltz saved on his phone. Yet another reckless security lapse. Do any of you watch Belle of the Ranch, former Beau of the Fifth Column? Her vids from yesterday are fire. I haven't watched her in a minute. I've watched her when she took over. Ron Filipkowski, the editor-in-chief of Midas Touch. He is? What? He is? Wow, that's a lot. Trump will consider this far worse than any security breach because this is borderline treason in Dear Leader's world. Waltz is now officially in trouble. My God, who's Ron getting to help him be editor-in-chief? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Matthew Gertz, a senior fellow at Media Matters for America, wrote on X, who also gets confused with Matt Gaetz all the time on Twitter. It's pretty funny. I genuinely do not understand how anyone in politics can be stupid enough to have their Venmo public after the Matt Gaetz debacle, but somehow this former House colleague, who is now National Security Advisor, did. Dumpy defended Waltz on Tuesday, telling reporters he's a very good man, and he'll continue to do a very good job somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere. White House Press Secretary Caroline told Fox News' Jesse Waters on Wednesday night, President Dump absolutely has full confidence in his national security team, Jesse. That includes our great national security advisor, Mike Waltz, Secretary Pete Hegseth, and the American people should be grateful to these individuals, and especially to President Rump, for putting together such a competent and highly qualified team who are killing terrorists that the Biden administration, that's right, the Biden administration, allowed to run wild in the Middle East. Senator Ted Cruz, a Republican, wrote on X on Wednesday, Mike Waltz is a friend, a Special Forces combat veteran, and a recipient of 4 Bronze Stars. I'm glad to see President Dump stand by his national security advisor, and I wish I was made something. It remains to be seen whether Waltz will face consequences. Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, great. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll check back with you later. This channel is the best kept secret on YouTube. I agree. I agree. Probably today's show isn't going to be the best, but usually we're pretty good. Usually we're pretty good. All right. Well, I will tell you this. I actually did. I really do care. I made a list last night. Wait, was this for this? Oh, yeah, it's for this. So I made a list of all the things I wanted to talk about. So there is kind of a lot. But I wanted to make sure there wasn't, because I do have a lot of articles to read, but I did want to make sure there wasn't anything like alive that we were missing. So hold on, let me just make sure. I don't know if there's any, is there fucking things today? Hold on. Wait, what's this? What? Oh, congressional hearing on deadly DC midair collision. Okay, so there's one. Hold on. Boo-doo-boo. Boo-doo-boo-boo. Paul Atkins confirmation hearing. Oh, I guess it is 15. It's 7:15.
Today, those qualities are going to serve the American
SEC
people.
commissioner. Okay, so that's one. Okay, that's cool. Hold on. I guess I didn't really have anything. I didn't. Oh, you know what it was? The House didn't really have anything scheduled. When I looked. Sometimes it comes up after I look. Let's see. Let me make sure. Hold on. Congress holds a hearing. Oh, this is the INL thing. Where is that? What time? 7:30. Oh, okay. Where's the State Department lady? I want to yell at her some more. I don't know. You're not that interesting. You're just not that interesting to us. Na 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 na. Okay. That's okay. I got shit. It's multiplying. Wicked big hot. Okay. This I want to read. Bobo brought this to me last night and said, I really think you need to cover this on your show. And I said, anything for you, my darling. And she's right. Because not enough people are talking about this. And I know we talked to it was mentioned yesterday and I didn't give it enough attention. This is from the BBC from yesterday? No, 2 days ago. But I think it needs to be told. Palestinian Oscar winner released after attack by Israeli settlers, co-director says. This is from BBC again. They are. A Palestinian Oscar winner who activists say was attacked by Israeli settlers before being detained by the Israeli military has been released, his co-director said. Hamdan Bilal, who co-directed No Other Land, which I want to watch No Other Land on one of our documentary nights coming up, had his house in the Israeli-occupied West Bank surrounded by settlers during an attack on Monday, the activist said. His co-director, Yuval Abraham, who said Mr. Bilal was beaten by settlers and then taken by soldiers while in an ambulance, which the Israeli Defense Forces denied, said on Tuesday afternoon that Mr. Bilal had been freed. The IDF said 3 Palestinians and an Israeli had been detained on suspicion of rock hurling at security forces. The 5 activists from the Center for Jewish Nonviolence group said that they had gone to the village to document the incident and had come under attack themselves, with settlers smashing their car windows, punching, and hitting them with sticks. Earlier, an activist who was at the scene told BBC the 3 detained Palestinians, including Mr. Bilal, were injured in the settler attack and had been held at an Israeli police station in the West Bank. They are suspected of throwing stones and injuring a young settler shepherd and were interrogated, the activist said, adding that they had access to a lawyer. The attack began about 1800, 4 o'clock local time, on Monday, when around a dozen masked settlers mounted an attack in the village of Susia, according to the activist. Mr. Bilal's house is reported to have been surrounded by the settlers. Yuval Abraham, the Israeli director who won the Oscar this month alongside Mr. Bilal, said people had been injured and properties destroyed in the attack. I'm not going to watch the video. Sorry. I'll link the article so that you can, take it in yourself when you're ready for it. The activist who spoke to the BBC had said they had complained to the Israeli soldiers that they were under attack. They said the army initially watched the attack and then approached only as the assault on the car was ending. The soldiers then refused to pursue the settlers, leaving them free to attack houses on the other side of the hill, the activist said. IDF confirmed that soldiers and police had arrived to disperse the confrontation. The IDF confirmed that, they said rocks had been, quote, hurled at security forces. In response, this is a quote, the forces apprehended 3 Palestinians suspected of hurling rocks at them, as well as an Israeli civilian involved in the violent confrontation, the IDF said. The detainees were taken for further questioning by the Israel police. An Israeli citizen was injured in the incident and was evacuated to receive medical treatment. No Other Land, which picked up Best Documentary at the 97th Academy Awards, follows the fight over Masafer Yatta, a community of about 20 villages, and the friendship between Adra and Abraham. Israel has occupied the West Bank since 1967. Israeli settlements in the territory are considered illegal under international law, though Israel disputes this. They have expanded over the past 55 years, becoming a focal point for violence and conflicting claims over land. Since the outbreak of the Israel-Hamas war in 2023, settler violence against Palestinian civilians in the West Bank has surged. Yeah, so there's that. That is happening in the world. Thank you, Bobo. Got some Bitcoin stuff for tomorrow. I'm pushing all the economic stuff till tomorrow's show. Let's see. What's this? Oh, yeah. Actually, I want to read this. This is something that Gal shared yesterday. Almost time to smoke some weed. Actually, I'm going to look at the chat. Can we watch the funny vid Gal posted? Wait, did she post a funny video? Wait, where is it? I'm behind. You just read it. Wait, what? There is I know. There is an NHTSA. Do you want to watch it? Do you want to watch that hearing? Do you want to watch the hearing? I'm so sorry I missed the chat. It was like, there. Do, 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 do. Wait, what are you guys saying? Wait. I make myself dizzy. Hello, Badger. I just let him run while I do stuff. Bo Bell's partner has some sketch in his past. Yeah, no, he had to leave the show because of some weird stuff. You wouldn't believe how huge my subscription list is. Lots of duplicate stories that I hide instead of adding to my queue. I heard bits and pieces, Max Flower. I have a sketch pass too, Val. I think he has a little more sketchier pass than you do. Maybe not in the lounge, but that appeals opinion on the AE. Oh, I have that teed up. Actually, I have that teed up. I know it's 93 pages, but pretty good overview of the issues. That's good. So having to move today to lower elevation. Didn't realize I came up 6,700 feet. Could probably skip the last one. Okay, the descent. Okay. I do have that. Wait, because this actually might be, I do have that. I have it. Oh, no, I don't have it. Show my bookmark. Oh, there. I have it. There it is. See, I even labeled it Alien Enemies Court Doc. This is the one, right? About 70 pages omitting dissent. Oh, okay. Well, we won't be able to read all 70, but it'd be nice. You never know. But it needs to be bigger. Bigger. Ah, not that big. Wait. No. Wow, that's too big. Ah, that's it. That is sketchy. We can run it through AI and get a good synopsis. Yes. Whoops, I gotta send it to you this way. Do 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 do. I'm gonna drop it right. I'm gonna drop it like it's hot right here. Do do. Ah. Okay. The oops. There. That's the AEA opinion. You mean AI is good for something? Let's see. I would see such a synopsis having little faith. Yeah, well, it'd be interesting once you saw that synopsis whether or not it picked up what was interesting. Let's see. Val, she's just way too smart. Bo's sketch involves possible trafficking. I know. I think he's actually got some pretty deep shit on his record. Unfortunately. Give me coffee, got the goods. No worries. I mean, it'd be interesting. Should I finally get on Signal and maybe get included accidentally on some upset? Yes, you should. Good morning. Oomph, thank you for that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, well we're gonna come back to that. And we're gonna get that. And then we're gonna get this. I just want to make sure I didn't, because I did have some really good stuff here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to look at this too. I want to show you this. This is roll call. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. We'll buy all your planes, Boeing. We'll buy your planes. Get the fuck off of my screen. Oh my god. This guy, man, I'd like to punch this guy in the face. I'll tell you that right now. I'm sorry. I can't punch him in the face. Fake compone. High fructose compone. His whole compone persona is a fake. He actually doesn't talk that way. Really? Wow. So, FYI, 19 Dem senators voted for T's head of Office of Science Technology. He worked for Teal for 9 years. Oh, God. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Hi, Neil. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. Hey, Russ. If I could, I'd punch you in the face. And I'm sure you'd try to punch me back, but I don't care. It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it to get punched in the face by you. Maybe not, but I don't know. The White House Budget Office has taken down the website where approvals of federal funding provided in appropriations laws are statutorily required to be posted for public viewing. A move likely to face major blowback from members of Congress. Is it though? Is it though? And government watchdogs. Who are they? Who are the government watchdogs? Huh? Who are the government watchdogs? Oh, it's already bloodless. As of Monday morning, the Office of Management and Budget was no longer making apportionments of previously enacted appropriations available on the website it set up for that purpose after Congress mandated the requirement starting in 2022. That site now simply says, page not found. Sources familiar with the decision said it was made because preliminary information was being disclosed on the site. Yes, there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it up to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and I'll bring it back here. Sources familiar with the decision because it could include sensitive data that poses a risk to national security. Oh, wow. Okay. Disclosures of apportionment data can be premature because they represent interim decisions which are subject to change, the sources said. Making the information public could undermine. Wait, what? Where am I? Oh, where? Oh, undermine the OMB's relationship with the agencies and ability to supervise federal spending. I think that horse left the barn. I know Pennsylvania elected a Dem. That is fucking amazing. Go PA. Fuck yeah. We love you. Yinzers. We love our Yinzers. Some of them. Not all of them. Some of them are pretty big dicks. I'm going to be honest with you. You got some big dicks in that state. It's like a 50-50, it feels like. Actually, now that I think of it, the list is like really long of dicks that live in Pennsylvania. I'm very sorry about that. Or who have been there. Disclosures of appointment data. Okay, with agencies and ability to supervise federal spending, they said, adding that the apportionment data would still be available to lawmakers if needed. But open government groups seem likely to challenge the decision in court, given it appears to flout the 2022 law. Big dick yinzers. Big mouth yinzers. This is in direct violation of federal law, said Faith Williams, director of the Effective and Accountable Government Program at the Project of Government Oversight, known as POGO. The apportionments database is a critical tool for Congress and the public to hold the executive branch accountable for its spending. House Democratic aide disputed the contention that the published appointments could expose sensitive internal House agency deliberations. The aide said those apportionments represent final decisions subject to the statutory disclosure law, as well as the Freedom of Information Act requirements, as opposed to the back and forth between agencies and OMB before a decision is made, which is not. Also, if any apportionment data is sensitive enough to be classified, that information is not disclosed on the public site. The aide called Monday's action deeply suspicious. Roots in the Ukraine aid fight. The fiscal 2022 wrap-up spending page, signed in March 2022, initially established the requirement for public posting of apportionments, which are how the OMB parcels out available funding to federal agencies to ensure that they do not burn through the money too quickly. The 2022 law required the Budget Office to establish its apportionments website within 120 days of enactment, with each apportionment document posted within 2 days, along with any footnotes and explanation of those footnotes. Any change in the delegation of apportionment authority to different officials within the Budget Office would also have to have been disclosed. In the fiscal 2023 omnibus package enacted late 2022, lawmakers inserted language making clear their intent was for the OMB to continue to operate and maintain the automated system required under the previous spending law in the fiscal year and each fiscal year thereafter. The law was in part a response to actions taken during the first Trump administration whereby then Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought, through delegation of authority to political appointees at the agency, directed agencies to withhold the obligation of funds to Ukraine. Remember that? Using apportionment footnotes. Vought is once again White House Budget Office Director after his party line Senate confirmation vote earlier this year. Democrats first raised the issue as an item they wanted to include in 2020 spending legislation, but President Donald Trump, then in his first term, threatened to veto it. So Democrats bided their time and waited out Trump getting it to the finish line after the 2020 election when they controlled both chambers and the White House. The American people have the right to know how their tax dollars are being spent, but it is clear that Russ Vought and President Trump do not care about transparency or following the law I authored. House Appropriations Ranking Member Rosa DeLauro from Connecticut said in a statement, "You only hide this information if you want to break the law without accountability." Okay, here we go. Do 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 do. Bam. Instant answers at your fingertips. Continue as Lolo. Continue as Lolo. Okay, continue. I don't. Continue. I don't. Do 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 do. Oh, unable to access the website. Oh, I wonder if it needs. Hold on. Do 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 do. It should be that. Why didn't it? Here, hold on. Do 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 do. How do I do something? Hold on. Oh, okay. Well, that's not really exciting. I don't know how to use it. It says it can't find the document because I think it's the wrong. I don't know why I dropped the wrong link, I think. Well, okay. I'm going to come back to that. Hold on. They're concerned about national security. Oh, yeah. Sure they are. All right, we're going to finish this out, and then I'm going to turn my attention to this. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. I got it. Hold on. Well, let me finish this article because I think I'm almost done. Yeah. And then we'll go back to that. All right. Advocates for transparency in government hailed the apportionments database as a major step forward at the time, and it's taken on more importance this year amid the Trump administration's various executive orders and other actions to delay or withhold funds for activities deemed out of step with its priorities. Advocates for transparency in government, earlier this year, CQ Roll Call and later ProPublica used public apportionments data to report on previously enacted funding being freed up for the U.S. doggy service. Okay, I don't even care. Through the beginning of March, the White House had apportioned over $40 million to the Elon Musk-led doggy. $40 million. According to data compiled by OpenOMB, a website maintained by the Protect Democracy Project, a nonprofit. Okay, so the reason I'm reading this article for the chuds is that they're hiding what they're doing. They are literally hiding what they're doing. And you need to assume that they're doing it for nefarious reasons. I'm sorry. That is not transparent. If there was transparency, the website would be up and operating. If they're not afraid of what they're doing with our tax dollars, what is the big deal with having transparency? This is everything they do is a lie. They take one grain of truth about a situation and then they blow it up into a lie. And I'm just like so angry. Okay, Congress passed a law to make apportionments public, specifically in response to the first Trump administration's illegal impoundment actions, said Charlie Ellsworth, a former top aide to Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, now a senior advisor to the Congressional Integrity Project, an advocacy group. Now, under the cover of darkness, Trump can cut programs serving Americans while awarding contracts to Elon Musk-owned companies. And I'm going to tell you one thing. I believe that some of these advocacy groups and things like that, I want to know what they're actually doing. Like, I know what Crew is doing. I know what, I know what certain organizations are really doing and pushing, but I've worked in a nonprofit. And there are definitely still phone it in people in nonprofit. And sometimes I worry with some of these organizations, they're kind of phoning in, just like Democrats respond kind of milquetoast to actual threats to democracy sometimes. People in these organizations who are like advocates and stuff like that, they're still shitty people, like lazy, dumb people in them sometimes. And so I don't always have immediate confidence that all of these lobbying agencies, that advocacy and stuff, are necessarily worth their salt. Because here we are. So clearly, this is just the shell game of money in Washington. It makes me so angry. I know good people that work for, Public Citizen and other agencies But you can't, we shouldn't assume everybody's like watching out for this stuff because they're still humans at the organizations. Congress passed a law to make, now, yeah. While awarding contracts to Elon Musk-owned companies. My God, people, they're just fucking stealing your money. Okay? Like, fuck. How hard does it have to be to understand this? All right. Here we go. This is the summary of order regarding emergency motions for stay in JGG et al. V. Donald Dump, which is the Alien Enemies Act court case going on. So this is summary of order regarding emergency motions. Okay, this document is an order from the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia regarding emergency motions. I should make that bigger. For a stay pending appeal in the case of The case revolves around Dump's invocation of AEA to apprehend, detain, and remove Venezuelan citizens who are members of Tren de Aragua, a designated foreign terrorist organization. Key points. Motions granted. The court grants motions to participate as amicus curiae, friends of the court. Motions that denied. The emergency motions for a stay are denied. Judge's statements, separate concurring statements from Judge Henderson and Judge Millett, and a dissenting statement from Judge Walker are attached. Background. Okay, so background of the case. Dump invoked the AEA on March 15th to target Venezuelan citizens affiliated with Tren de Aragua, citing their invasion or whatever, incursion, as well as ties to the Venezuelan government. Is this really just about the Venezuelan government? Is that what this is? Oh, there's a NATO thing going on with France? Oh, God, I'm just like all over the place. I'm so sorry. All right, I'm trying to get through there. Let's see. The 5 Venezuelan citizens filed a class action lawsuit to enjoin the enforcement of the proclamation and sought a temporary restraining order. The district court entered TROs preventing the executive branch from deporting the named plaintiffs and the certified class. The government appealed and sought a stay of the TROs. The TROs are generally not appealable, but exceptions do exist. The court asserts appellate jurisdiction based on 2 factors: the risk of scuttling delicate international negotiations, specifically agreements with El Salvador and Venezuela, due to the TROs, and the fact that the district court issued an injunction against the President of the United States. The stay factors. The court considers the traditional stay factors: likelihood of success on the merits, irreparable injury, harm to other parties and public interest. The government argues it is likely to succeed on the merits because the district court lacked jurisdiction. The political question doctrine bars consideration, and its conduct is lawful under the Alien Enemies Act. One argument regarding the district court's decision is that the plaintiffs sued in the wrong venue because their habeas claims could be heard only in the federal district where they are detained. I don't know if I really understand what it summarized. Motions granted. They granted motions to participate as amicus curiae. So they didn't stay the TRO, I guess. I guess that's what it is. That's the bottom line. Well, interesting. Well, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Thank you, Gal. Another tool. Another tool in the quiver. Another tool in the quiver. They upheld the TRO 2-1. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I guess I understood that from that. They're concerned about national security. Well, then they should get rid of their national security apparatus because it's clearly the leadership is failing. Oh, whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on a regular stupid screen. Do. On different grounds. Oh, interesting. So was that accurate, Oomph, to what your reading was? Millett and Henderson, both worth reading, both pretty insistent that language matters. Ooh. Well, that's all you need to say to me. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is the AEA, the thing we just read a summary of. Upon consideration, the opposition thereto, the reply, and the brief filed, the motion to participate as amicus curiae, filed by Rep. Brandon Gill. Brandon! Wait a minute. I got Brandon. He's multiplying. Here we go. Hold on. There he is. Oh, Brandon is going to be an amicus curiae. He's married to, that's Dinesh D'Souza's spawn. That's right. Yeah, not really informative. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's interesting. Dissent believes whatever the government says. Well, this guy, Brandon Gill, and Dinesh D'Souza's spawn is an amicus curiae. Yes, he is. He's an amicus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those things are technical juris approaches matter. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Further ordered, the motions for a stay be denied, separate concurring statements. Okay. Hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. In 1798, great value Patrick Bateman. He's the white label. Great value. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay. Oh God. All right. Let's see. Well, let's read a little bit of this. I think it's going to be good. In 1798, our fledgling republic was consumed with fear. Fear of external war with France, fear of internal strife from her sympathizers, and for the incumbent Federalist Party, fear of its chief political rival, the Jeffersonian Republicans. In the summer of 1798, the Federalists decided to kill two birds with one stone. In an act of laws known as the Alien and Sedition Acts, the Federalists granted the administration of President John Adams sweeping authority to expel immigrants, gag the free press, and rid themselves of two key pillars of Republican support: immigrant voters and partisan newspapers. Discussion of dictionary use in both opinions is fairly interesting. Oh. Let's see. Gag the boo. At the same time, these laws would purge the country of reviled Jacobin sympathizers. Jacobin sympathizers. Under the first of these laws, the Alien Friends Act, the Congress granted the president sweeping power to detain and expel any alien he deemed dangerous to the peace and safety of the United States. Well, why is it called Friends? That's a dumb name. Under the Sedition Act, the Congress made it a crime to write, print, utter, or publish any false, scandalous, or malicious writing or writings against the government, the Congress, or the President with intent to defame or to bring them into contempt or disrepute, or to excite against them the hatred of the people. I don't know. He's doing a pretty good job of himself. Both laws were enacted by narrow margins, widely derided as unconstitutional, and allowed to lapse once the Federalists were swept from power in the elections of 1800. A third law, the Alien Enemies Act, offered a wartime counterpart to the Alien Friends Act. That law granted the president power to detain and expel enemy aliens during times of war, invasion, or predatory incursion. Unlike its counterparts, the Alien Enemies Act was never questioned by Jefferson or Madison, the de facto leaders of the Republicans, quote, nor did either ever suggest its repeal. On the contrary, the then Republican minority in the Congress supported its enactment. Perhaps unsurprisingly, it is the only component of the Alien and Sedition Acts that remains law today. Interesting. The AEA contains two provisions, a conditional clause and an operative clause. The conditional clause limits the AEA's substantive authority to conflicts between the United States and a foreign power. Specifically, there must be a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government, or an invasion or predatory incursion perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government. And 3, a presidential public proclamation of the event. If these conditions are met, all natives, citizens, denizens, or subjects of the hostile nation or government, being of the age of 14 years and upward, who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized. Well, that's so funny. Well, never mind. Shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, and removed as alien enemies. The president is authorized to direct the manner and degree of the restraint to which they shall be in subject, and to provide for the removal of those who, not being permitted to reside within the United States, refuse or neglect to depart therefrom, and to establish any other regulations which are found necessary in the premises and for the public safety. Ooh, Pepperidge Farm remembers. All right, let's see. We've got that factual background. We have a little bit of that already. They filed a suit. They also filed an emergency application for a TRO, alleging that the plaintiffs and class faced imminent danger of being removed tonight or early tomorrow morning. Okay. Let's see. Given the exigencies, did I say that right? Yeah. The district court entered an immediate and ex parte TRO to prevent the executive branch from deporting any of the named plaintiffs for 14 days. The court conducted a hearing that evening, during which it provisionally certified a class of plaintiffs consisting of all non-citizens in U.S. custody who are subject to the proclamation. It also entered a second TRO to cover the class for a period of 14 days. The government immediately appealed and sought a stay of the TROs pending its appeal of those orders, which was just denied. Let's see. In the ordinary plaintiff remedy. Okay, so that's all jurisdiction. Let me know if I... Wait, what? Did you see where they discovered Hegseth has a Russian email address? Really? I didn't see that. I'm not shocked, but I didn't see that. I don't think he's that important, okay? I don't think Hegseth is anything that's important, all right? He's a clown. They're going to get rid of him. They're going to have a little harder time getting rid of Mike Waltz, but they have to get rid of Mike Waltz too, because he really fucked up. That's it. I predict Mike Waltz and Pete Hegseth will take the fall for this. They'll be quietly replaced. It'll be some Yahoo like Tom Cotton being the vet those people. Jim, come on. That's a feature. They want people. They want to get away with it. That's what they want, Jim. They don't give a shit. They know exactly who these people are. They know exactly who they are. They're thinking they can get away with it. And then shit like this happens. Because they're so goddamn stupid. They do have to be Senate confirmed. But guess who he's going to probably put in there? Tom Cotton. Okay? They're going to take someone who is palatable, and I use that term very loosely. They just have to swap out the clowns. That's all. Hegseth is not integral to the overall success of the administration. Neither is Waltz, actually. He's not even doing a great job. So these two are very expendable, and easily replaced. I'm not taking it out on Jim. No, I'm not. I'm not taking it out on Jim. I'm just saying, like, these are the people they chose, like, for a reason, and they knew everything about them. Everything. It's true. God, I don't know. It's like, oh, he did something bad. Okay, come on, we'll put another person in. Why did you laugh? I know. You did it. You made me laugh. I love you. Oh, I'm not even showing you what I'm reading, am I? That's really terrible. How frustrating. That's so frustrating. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Today. Here we go. This is what I'm reading. Sorry. I'm reading the document. Let's see. Bida-bada-boo, bida-bada-boo. Our legal tradition recognizes, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes even a preliminary injunction will not afford the rapid relief necessary to prevent irreparable injury. A preliminary injunction requires weighty considerations, and those considerations must be memorialized with findings of fact and conclusions of law. Yes, it's true. Okay, let's see if we can get to the part that... Could they swap Hegseth for... Oh, yeah, they could. Well... Yeah, I guess they could, because he's been retired a certain number of years. I mean, do they care? No, they don't care. Yeah, there's a few candidates out there, right? There's a few candidates, Karen, that could step in for Hegseth. Clearly, by putting Hegseth in there, they showed you how little they think of the job. Okay? It doesn't need to be a go-getter. In fact, it was better to not have a go-getter. We just didn't want a go-getter who didn't ask, who else is on this phone chain before I send you guys all these plans? Not one person asked that. Who's on this chain? I think Mike Waltz did it on purpose. Here's what I think. And you can call me whatever you want. I think Mike Waltz wanted to blow the whistle on how inept this administration is and thought he could do it by accidentally adding a journalist to this particular chain. I think he did it knowing exactly what information was going to be shared, and the fact that this journalist would not share or leak that information, but then use it for reporting on the incompetence of the administration. I truly think Mike might have done that. I truly think Mike Waltz, I would not put it past him to have done it in a way so that it got out and damn the consequences, because he was so that's my dream. Yeah, Flynn's much better at criming. I mean, the second team, the people on the bench are not less scary. In fact, the people on the bench are probably more scary to me. So, anyway, that's my thought. I don't know. I have no idea, but I wouldn't be shocked to learn that Mike Waltz just set this up so that he could expose this administration for being so incredibly stupid. Oh, really? I thought he was already confirmed. Wow. Raisin Kane, the guy that's the Joint Chiefs of Staff or something. Who else is on our live chat? Yeah, who else is in here? Poop Hands won't fall on a sword. Well, Poop Hands doesn't have a choice, I don't think. I don't think Poop Hands has a choice. I think he has to fall on his sword because he's a liability, and not a liability in a good way. He's a liability in a bad way. So I think they're going to shit can him, and they're going to shit can Waltz too. Because he put the fucking journalist on there, so you can't sugarcoat that. I mean, I think. No, Poop Hands I think is going down. I think he's going back to he's going to be on the PBD podcast. You guys, come on. This is perfect. This is perfect. He's going to be the new beast on the PBD podcast. Oh my God. I should be like a casting agent for them. Any response regarding tariffs? I have to check. Hold on. Let me finish this and then we'll go. And tomorrow is our big economic show, which I'm working on. Okay, so let's see. In limited, there's TROs. Okay, TROs. Okay, this is why the court can tell a president what to do. This is the stay factors. Wait, I want to go back. What did you say? Accurate. These things are checked. Discussion of dictionary use in both opinions is fairly interesting. Okay. Let's see. Is it down here a little bit, I think? The 5 named plaintiffs are currently detained at El Valle Detention Center. Texas? Oh my God. I'm just so angry about this. Okay, so the political question doctrine. What about this? The government argues that we may not even assess the lawfulness of its conduct. In its view, whether there is an invasion or predatory incursion, or whether an organization qualifies as a foreign nation or government, is a political question unreviewable by the courts. Federal courts possess a virtually unflagging obligation to exercise the jurisdiction given them. One limited and narrow exception to this duty arises when a case presents a purely political question. A case falls within the sparing ambit of the political question doctrine where there is a textually demonstrable constitutional commitment of the issue to a coordinate political department or a lack of judicially discoverable and manageable standards for resolving it. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. It is not enough to highlight that the issues have political implications or that the case lies beyond judicial cognizance because it touches foreign relations. At the outset, the government's suggestion that judicial review of the Alien Enemies Act is categorically foreclosed is incorrect. See Government Brief 14, allowing that there could be a narrow sliver of questions potentially open to review without conceding the point. Nothing in the text of the AEA expressly or implicitly forecloses the strong presumption of judicial review. That result accords with the understanding of the enacting legislature. In the Fifth Congress, supporters of the AEA insisted persons imprisoned under the act would have the power of demanding a trial. I'm excited too. It is going to be fun. I have a lot of stuff. I'm going to have to work on that this afternoon to pull together, like, what's my summary? What's my thesis statement for tomorrow? I don't know. I'll probably do a half-assed job of it. But you know what? There'll be some good information in there. And I'll learn something. You'll learn something. That's what the goal is. Let's see. That result accords in the Fifth Congress, have the power of demanding a trial, and early practice comports with that understanding. Okay. The scope of judicial review, although these cases establish the availability of judicial review, they don't settle the scope of that review. The government asserts that the sole question amenable to judicial scrutiny is whether detained is an alien enemy. Whether the person is 14 years old, a denizen, citizen, subject, native, of a presidentially declared hostile nation. See, I don't think they've done a good enough job. Like, I need to understand this Venezuela thing a little bit more. Venezuela. It brought me to the Venezuelan waltz number 2. Venezuela. How are you doing, Venezuela? How are you doing? Let's see. Okay. Oh my God. All right. A headline that came up when I looked at this was Rubio offers U.S. security for oil-rich Guyana as Venezuela looms. A patient reading of the 3 opinions is probably the best available summary on the whole situation. Okay, so let me go down then to the opinions, right? This is all the details of the case. Issues not decided. Preliminary relief is not a fast track to the merits. Okay. You are in the first opinion. Oh, I am? How embarrassing. How embarrassing. First, okay, so wait, this... Am I missing the part that you thought was interesting, though? Dictionary of the English Language. All right, here we go. Okay, stop it. I know what I'm doing. No, I don't, but it's okay. It's okay. Begin with the text. Here we go. Here we go. A patient reading. I love that. Bye, gal. A patient reading. What do you mean? Do you think I'm not patient? Okay. Let's see. Begin with the text. The term invasion was a legal term of art with a well-defined meaning at the founding. It required far more than an unwanted entry. To constitute an invasion, there had to be hostilities. As one leading dictionary of the era specifies, an invasion is, quote, a hostile entrance upon the right or possessions of another, hostile encroachment, such as when William the Conqueror invaded England. Samuel Johnson, invasion, a dictionary, as another recounts, an invasion is a hostile entrance into the possession of another, particularly the entrance of a hostile army into a country for the purpose of conquest or plunder, or the attack of a military force. The Prince's Chef. Oh, let's see. Noah Webster. Ooh, Noah Webster. And because the invasion must be by any foreign nation or government, that entity would be an invader, i.e., one who enters the territory of another with a view to war, conquest, or plunder. Next, look to context. The term invasion appears... Oops, I didn't want to do that. Don't. Stop. The term invasion appears as part of a list of 3 interrelated terms: a declared war, or any invasion, or 3 predatory incursion. The basic interpretive principle of, oh boy, nocitur associes. I'm not saying that right at all. I'm so sorry. Counsels reading an ambiguous word that appears in a list of related terms in light of the company it keeps. There could be a congressionally declared war, an invasion by the belligerent government, or a lesser incursion into the United States. Each could trigger a formal change in relations between the United States and the hostile power under the law of nations, and in turn, the relationship of America to that nation's people. The surrounding statutory context confirms as much. First, the invasion must be against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government. The requirement that the invasion be conducted by a nation state and against the United States territory supports that the Congress was using invasion in a military sense of the term. That's all the supporting. Undesired people do not arrive against the territory. This is very important. But foreign armies can, and as the 1798 Congress feared might, invade the territory of the United States. Second, the invasion may be actual, attempted, or threatened. Again, when used in reference to the hostilities among nations, an attempted or threatened invasion of the United States would mark a logical trigger for enhanced presidential authority. Third, and relatedly, the conditional list of triggering events, a declared war, invasion, or predatory incursion, must be read against the means the Congress employed to combat the same. The AEA authorizes the president to restrain and remove the nationals of a belligerent foreign power. Such power tracks when invasion is considered in its military sense. Finally, consider history. The Alien Enemies Act was enacted by the Fifth Congress and amid an actual conflict, the quasi-war with France, a foreign power. War was front and center in the minds of the enacting legislature. A little over 1 month before enacting the AEA, the same Congress authorized the president to raise a standing army of 10,000 men to combat any French invasion. But he could do so only in the event of a declaration of war against the United States or of actual invasion of their territory by a foreign power or of imminent danger of such invasion. This language bears more than a passing resemblance to the language of the AEA, which the Congress enacted a mere 39 days later. In his most famous exposition against the Alien and Sedition Act, Madison explained that, quote, an invasion is an operation of war. James Madison, blah, blah, blah. In such times, the law of nations allowed for the expulsion of alien enemies as an exercise of the power of war. Debates in the Congress surrounding ratification of the Alien and Sedition Act support this read. Rep. Joshua Coit of Connecticut warned that the United States may very shortly be involved in a war against France and that the immense number of French citizens in our country could threaten the Republic. Rep. James Bayard of Delaware pushed back on critics of the new laws by warning of aliens who might be likely to join the standard of an enemy in case of an invasion. Rep. John Allen of Connecticut cautioned that the country could not wait for an invasion or threatened invasion before granting the power to the president to remove aliens, noting that multiple European powers had fallen to France by means of alien agents of the French nation. Opponents of the acts contested their constitutionality and warned that if accepted, they could lead to suspension of habeas corpus, which is allowable in cases of rebellion or invasion. Supporters disputed that any suspension would occur, but did not dispute that the AEA drew on wartime powers. On the contrary, they invoked, among other authority, the Congress's power of providing for the common defense and the president's powers, which he already possesses as commander-in-chief. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. This should come as no surprise. The term invasion was well known to the Fifth Congress and the American public circa 1798. The phrase echoes throughout the Constitution ratified by people just 9 years before. And in every instance, it is used in a military sense. For example, the Guarantee Clause provides that, quote, the United States shall protect each state against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. The clause is a federal guarantee to the states against attack from without, invasion, or within, insurrection. In describing the clause, the Federalist Papers refer to invasion and domestic violence as bloody affairs involving military talents and experience and an appeal to the sword. The Federalist, number 44. To effectuate the guarantee, the Congress has the power to provide for calling forth the militia to suppress insurrections and repel invasions. Again, to use military force against invasion. During these exigent times of hostilities, in cases of rebellion or invasion, the Congress may suspend the privilege of writ of habeas corpus when the public safety may require it. Finally, if the federal guarantee fails, a state may exercise its Article I power to engage in war, but only if actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. When the Constitution repeats a phrase across multiple clauses and the early Congresses echo that phrase in statute, it is a strong signal that this text should be read in pari materia. The theme that rings true is that an invasion is a military affair, not one of migration. One of the heavily discussed presidential cases is that of a former member of the Nazi Party who was afforded due process. Predatory incursion. The government finds no safer refuge in the alternative predatory incursion. The government defines the term as an entry into the United States for purposes contrary to the interest or laws of the United States. And it explains that illegal immigration and drug trafficking readily qualify under that standard. As before, the government misreads the text, context, and history. An incursion is a lesser form of invasion, an attack or invasion without conquest. It's predatory. I have to blow my nose. Hold on just a minute. My nose is itchy. Okay, here we go. Moving my seat. Okay, here we go. Use the term to describe. Oh, yeah. Its predatory nature includes a plundering, such as the predatory war made by Scotland. What? Scotland? Pickering used the term to describe a lesser form of attack that France could conduct against the U.S. and which, in his view, could be repelled by the militia. This was raised in contradistinction. Ooh, contradistinction? Wow. To a full invasion, which would require an army. Otis likewise described a predatory incursion as a lesser form of invasion of war. Okay, so basically, it's war. Early American case law sounds a similar theme. Incursions referred to violent conflict. Alexander Dallas, appearing before the Marshall Court, described predatory incursions of the Indians, quote, onto Pennsylvania's frontier, which had led to a, quote, Indian war. Justice Marshall referred to incursions of quote, hostile Indians, which involved constant scenes of killings and scalping and led to a retaliatory war of extermination. You know what's interesting to me? It's like these guys have taken what was written in law, and while traditionally people would take it and then provide context and, be reasonable, these guys are like, well, that's what the law says. I don't know what to tell you. That's what the law says. I know. Terrible. Justice Marshall referred, war of extermination. All right. Explaining that Pennsylvania's royal charter included the power of war to repel incursions by barbarous nations. Like its statutory counterparts, predatory incursion referred to a form of hostilities against the United States by another nation state. A form of attack short of war. Migration alone did not suffice. All right. That's very good. Let's see. Represents new. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and link this document in there. Oh, actually, I did link it, I think. Second opinion. Oh, okay, good. Dishonest conduct of the case. All right. Let me go down. Harms to the government interest. Okay, Millet, here we go. Here's the other concurring opinion. All right, here we go. The government of the United States has been emphatically termed a government of laws and not of men and women. Marbury v. Madison. This means that these are not bulleted lists, but not just in one succinct. Oh, that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. I'll make it. I'll navigate it, or I'll just give up and walk away. It's really easy for me. Let's see. This means that the United States government adheres faithfully to the Constitution's requirements, duly enacted laws. Any government can hew a legal path. Okay. In this appeal, the government seeks exceptional emergency relief from temporary restraining orders that do just one thing: prevent the summary removal of Venezuelan immigrants to a notorious prison in El Salvador or other unknown locations without first affording them some semblance of due process to contest the legal and factual bases for removal. Plaintiffs are Venezuelan immigrants who the government claims are members of a violent criminal gang known as Tren de Aragua. In the government's view, based on its allegation, plaintiffs can be removed immediately with no notice, no hearing, no opportunity, zero process to show that they are not members of the gang, to contest their eligibility for removal under the law, or to invoke legal protections against being sent to a place where it appears likely they will be tortured and their lives endangered. The district court has been handling this matter with great expedition and circumspection, and its orders do nothing more than freeze the status quo until weighty and unprecedented legal issues can be addressed through a soon forthcoming preliminary injunction proceeding. There is neither jurisdiction nor reason for this court to interfere at this very preliminary stage or to allow the government to single-handedly moot the plaintiff's claims by immediately removing them beyond the reach of their lawyers or the court. My question is, Millet asks, my question is, if we were to grant the relief you request, would the government consider it necessary to allow time to file a habeas petition before removing people? Is it the government's position that it could immediately resume mass removals of the 5 named plaintiffs and the class members immediately? Government, Your Honor, we take the position that the AEA does not require notice and that the government believes there would not be a limitation on removal. The Constitution's demand of due process cannot be so easily thrown aside. For those reasons, I agree. Let's see, the Fifth Amendment. While the due process clause's coverage is broad, the amount of process due can vary based on the nature and context of the government intrusion. Once it is determined that due process applies, the question remains what process is due. Oh, that's a good one. Consideration of what procedures due process may require under any given set of circumstances must begin with a determination of the precise nature of the government function involved, as well as of the private interest that has been affected by governmental action. Due process of the law requires that the proceeding shall be fair, but fairness is a relative, not an absolute concept. What is fair in one set of circumstances may be an act of tyranny in another. At its most basic, due process requires notice of adverse governmental action and an opportunity to be heard and the right to an unbiased decision maker. Hello, that's it. How beautifully said that is. It's so beautifully said. That really is the point. Okay. Let's see. I got to keep an eye on the time. Let's see. Many controversies of due process. Okay. In the specific context of immigration, Congress has enacted a comprehensive legal regime providing due process to those who the government alleges are unlawfully present in the United States. The Immigration and Nationality Act provides the sole and exclusive procedure for determining whether an alien may be removed from the United States. Under that act, non-citizens are entitled to apply for asylum if they can establish that race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion was or will be at least one central reason for their persecution in the country of their nationality. They can also seek withholding of removal to a country where it is more likely than not that they would face persecution. In addition, the United States is a signatory to the Convention Against Torture and so obligated not to return individuals to a country where they more likely than not would be tortured. Hold on. You mean like this? You mean like this? You mean like that? There is a place in hell. There is hell. And hell exists, I think, just for these folks. Hey, what did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Just Boasberg's, yes. Oh, a 4 p.m. hearing and the Signal Gate lawsuit by American Oversight. That's right. That's today. Which is great. Poor Boasberg, right? Oh my God. Poor Boasberg is just having a day. He's getting all the shit cases. I'm glad he's there. Let's see. Immigration okay, the Immigration and Nationality Act provides the sole and exclusive procedure for determining whether an alien may be removed from the United States. I mean, that is just fucking it. Good morning, Audrey. How are you? Good to see you, darling. My girl. Word is more likely. Okay, we read that. To protect a nation's safety, Congress enacted special expedited removal proceedings for non-citizens who have been convicted of committing aggravated felonies or are deemed to be alien terrorists. Even those expedited proceedings allow for notice and an opportunity to be heard before a neutral decision maker. That's really the key. Let's see. If there's no been... Oh, okay. Here we go. The declaration of war part. If there has been no formal declaration of war by Congress, the president must make a public proclamation and allow enemy aliens a reasonable time to comply with the proclamation's orders. See? This is how. Oh, baby. I am feeling better. Thank you so much, Audrey. Love you. Oh, wait. A call-in at 4? So it's at 1. I should be back by then. We could probably call in for that. If there has been no... Okay, all right. Under the AEA, when a complaint against an alien enemy resident is presented to a court, the court's duty is to provide a full examination and hearing. Okay, so they really blew all that. They just blew all through of it. Federalist, and it would have required federal courts to simply fall in line and enforce the president's order. Wait, what? The AEA was one of several measures known as the Alien and Sedition Acts passed in 1798 when the U.S. feared that France was planning a military invasion. The original version of the law was introduced by a pro-war Federalists and would have required federal courts simply to fall in line and enforce the president's order. That language received prompt opposition from Republicans who strongly resisted its effort to make judges be obedient to the will of the president rather than being obedient to the laws. Oh, remember that when people thought about that shit? The whole of the bill might as well be in 2 or 3 words. Because the president of the United States shall have the power to remove, restrict, and confine, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right, original version. This is the background on the AEA. Is there another thing that I should be like? I couldn't see the screen. Was watering plants and chickens. Oh, how nice. I like that. Let's see. Early cases followed a precedent. Really? SB? What do you mean? You got to hit the bell, baby. As the court in Gilroy, okay, so war, Tren de Aragua is a violent national, although not publicly disclosed at the time. On March 14th, 2025, President Trump signed a proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act in response to the invasion of the United States by Tren de Aragua. The proclamation finds and declares that TDA is perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion. Really? Come on now. Stop it. And that TDA is undertaking hostile actions and conducting irregular warfare against the country. Boy, they really just took a lawyer and said, just go ahead and write this. Just write it like that. Just write it. Just take the language from the bill or from the act and put it in your threats. Both directly and at the direction, clandestine or otherwise, of the Maduro regime in Venezuela. And then the all Venezuelans, 14. Okay, the proclamation does not establish any process by which individuals are given notice of the government's determination that they meet the proclamation's criteria and therefore removable to a country of the government's choosing, nor does the proclamation establish any process by which individuals may challenge the government's determination that they meet the proclamation's criteria. Instead, upon the government's determination that an individual meets the proclamation's criteria, that individual is subject to immediate removal without notice and without time or opportunity to challenge their removal. Plaintiffs are a class of Venezuelan nationals in government custody who the government claims are subject to removal under the proclamation. Apparently, having caught wind of the forthcoming proclamation and the summary removals planned under it, in the early morning hours of March 15th, 5 named plaintiffs filed in the United States District Court. Okay. That's the history. All right. I think we're good then. I'm going to stop on that. Isn't that weird? That is weird. Not on my iPad, but on my Samsung phone. That's so weird. Samsung hates me. Samsung hates me. Oh. All right. Ugh. Ugh. Hold on. Actually, before I do that. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. See, I don't understand what the INL is. What's the INL? Oh, I can't stand that woman. Hold on. Yeah, I know there's a hearing on the collision. I'm not. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on. Wow. Kind of a weird. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on. Oh, well, you know what, though? Actually, I know what I want to show. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Oh, that's for tomorrow, though. Dang it. Okay. That's okay. I have an appointment this morning, so I do have to go to my appointment. Isn't that weird? Back to chores. I hate them too. Yeah. Come on down to Pound Town. Come on down. Come on down. I thought I had something here, but I'm not able to put my fucking hands on it. All right. Well, this is not really the best. International. What is INL? What is INL? What is INL? You guys know what INL is? There's a hearing, but it's this woman that I really hate. Oops. I don't know. Is this INL? I don't know what INL is.
Bukele was successful. His strategy reduced one of the world's highest homicide rates to nearly zero.
Oh God,
He presented this strategy
she advising for
to
Bukele?
INL, and they said, no, we're not going to work with you. During the last 4 years, unfortunately,
thank you, Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. Thank you so much, Karen.
Under President Trump, and we're going to return the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs to its original mission, which is helping our allies fight crime.
Yeah.
Dismantling gangs.
Yeah.
Restoring law and order.
Yeah.
They have a budget of $2 billion a year.
Yeah.
And I think we owe it to the American taxpayers to commit and reestablish their mandate. Finding drugs, stopping human trafficking, training police forces worldwide with American-made weapons bought by our allies. INL is one of the best tools we have as Americans to create a safer, stronger, and more prosperous country while helping our neighbors to do the same, whether it's in Central America or anywhere else in the world.
I'm yelling.
I believe that we are still the United
think
States.
she's from South
We're the
America.
point of reference for the rest of the hemisphere, at least when it comes to good governance. the
Yeah,
beacon
she's
of
not
hope, that there is a
Afrikaans. I think
political
she's,
system that
South
respects
American.
human dignity. Thank God we're back on the right side of history. I yield back. And now I recognize
Yeah, this woman's a bitch. I'm
my
sorry.
dear ranking member, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Castro, for any statements he may have.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Chairwoman, for
I'll
convening
find
this
a
hearing,
real
and
thing
thank you
of
to our
this.
witnesses for
Sorry.
testifying at this subcommittee's first hearing in Congress, this Congress. The topic of this hearing is broadly to discuss the reauthorization of the State Department's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement. This is certainly important, and I look forward to the discussion on this issue. But I first need to paint a picture of what's going on right now. In just the last few weeks, we've witnessed a deeply troubling pattern of executive overreach and undermining of congressional authority. The administration has attempted to dismantle congressionally established agencies, USAID, the Inter-American Foundation, and the U.S. African Development Foundation, all without a single hearing from this committee where the administration has defended its actions. The Trump administration is trying to shut down the U.S. Agency for Global Media, a move cheered by autocrats and dictators from Havana to Moscow to Beijing to Caracas. They're trying to do this without this committee, the full committee, demanding the administration even explain themselves. The committee has given up its role of oversight. It has abandoned any oversight of the Trump administration, which is astounding in the history of Congress. The committee has abandoned, we as a nation, because of the Trump administration, have abandoned brave human rights defenders in Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and everywhere else in the world as we went back on our word and froze programs that support them. We left them to get rounded up and put in prison. That is what this administration has done. The committee has not called Secretary Rubio in or any other administration official to explain these actions. That's why I say they have abandoned any oversight responsibilities. Donald Trump has canceled temporary protected status and humanitarian parole for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Haitians, and Cubans who have sought refuge in our country, as millions of people have over generations. These were people who had status to be here. This is after President Trump said that he would only go after criminals. Masked ICE agents are pulling people off the streets in Texas, in Florida, and in cities across our country, and sending them to prisons in El Salvador without any due process at all. President Bukele has become a mercenary for prisoners, to house prisoners from the United States, and I committee should be holding a hearing on it. Unfortunately, what we're seeing from the Republican majority is a total surrender of their power as legislators. Why hasn't this committee demanded testimony from Secretary Rubio, Pete Morocco, and others on all of this? We need answers. We need accountability, and we need this committee to do its job. We meet at a time when the United States is facing serious, complex threats abroad, and the responses from this Congress and this administration have too often been silence, confusion, or political theater. Across the world, vital U.S. foreign assistance programs, many of them managed through the INL Bureau, have been cut, delayed, or outright canceled. We've seen freezes to police academy training in Mexico, programs designed to disrupt human trafficking, and efforts to equip law enforcement agencies across the globe with the tools to fight money laundering, fentanyl production, and organized crime. These aren't just line items in a budget. They're lifelines to communities here and abroad. The impacts of those decisions are not abstract. They absolutely make Americans less safe. When you see more fentanyl entering this country, when violent cartels operate with impunity, this is part of the reason why. These decisions will haunt us in the coming years. As we turn specifically to the reauthorization of the INL Bureau and its programs, we must approach reauthorization with clear eyes. INL has been a critical tool in our foreign policy toolkit, but I agree that it must evolve. Synthetic drugs like fentanyl are not only devastating American families, they're destabilizing entire regions. Scam centers and cyber-enabled fraud schemes are preying on our most vulnerable citizens. INL must be equipped and reoriented to tackle these challenges. At the same time, we must resist the impulse to think that security means police alone. Sustainable progress requires more than just training and equipping security forces. It means building robust justice systems, effective prosecutors, professional judges, strong defense attorneys, independent courts, prisons, and investing in the civil society actors who hold their leaders accountable. Funding police while defunding anti-corruption and rule of law programs is not just short-sighted, it's dangerous and it's
She's another one I
counterproductive.
think that's going to be a
Today's
sacrificial
hearing is an
lamb because
opportunity
she's
to
going to
begin a
fuck up really
serious,
bad.
hopefully sober conversation about what INL needs to succeed and what
She's-
reforms
and
we need to
so
pursue
I
to ensure
predict
its work
at
aligns
some point she'll
with our
be
values,
jettisoned.
advances our interests, and keeps our communities safe. Thank you, Chairwoman, and I yield back.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Castro. Thank you for your statement. And now we are pleased to have a distinguished panel of witnesses before us today on this important topic. Let me introduce
Does she even
Mrs.
know where she
Chelsea-
is?
Chelsea Kenny. She's the Director, International Affairs and Trade for the United States Government Accountability Office. Thank you and welcome. Mr. Andres Martinez Fernandez, Senior Policy Analyst, Latin America, Allison Center for National Security at the Heritage Foundation. And Mr. Adam Isaacson,
God, we have
Director
so
for
many
Defense
heritage
Oversight,
people.
Washington Office on Latin America.
American
This
oversight
committee
is here.
recognizes the importance
Woo!
of the issues before us and is grateful to have you here to speak to us today. Your full statement will be made part of the record, and I will ask each of you to keep your spoken remarks to 5 minutes in order to
Yeah, I
allow
agree,
time
SB.
for members' questions. Now I recognize Ms. Kenny for her opening statement.
Chairwoman Salazar, Ranking Member Castro, and members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss our findings and recommendations related to the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. INL contributes to some of the U.S. government's top security priorities. These include combating the flow of illicit narcotics into the U.S., promoting rule of law around the world, and combating transnational crime. We have reviewed many of INL's programs in recent years and identified successes as well as opportunities for improvement in at least 15 reports, many at the request of this committee. Since 2020, we have made 16 recommendations to improve the effectiveness of INL programs. I will highlight 3 key areas of improvement related to performance management, program monitoring, and program evaluation. First, we have made 5 recommendations to improve how INL is managing the performance of its projects. Of these, INL has implemented 1 recommendation on combating firearms trafficking in Mexico, but 4 related to firearms trafficking in the Caribbean and on assistance to Mexico more broadly remain unaddressed. Performance management is meant to ensure that the U.S. government is spending taxpayer dollars effectively and achieving U.S. goals. For example, since 2008, the U.S. has provided over $3 billion in assistance to Mexico to address crime and violence and enhance the country's rule of law. However, in 2023, we reported that INL could not demonstrate that it was achieving its goals because of gaps in its approach to performance management. Specifically, we found that INL had established goals and objectives but had not identified which of its projects were key to achieving them. So, for example, under the goal of preventing trans-border crime, INL had established a joint objective with Mexico to disrupt and dismantle narcotics production. However, while INL implemented and collected data on individual projects, it had not linked which of these projects were helping to meet this goal. We recommended that INL strengthen its performance management
Wait,
reports
what?
to determine whether it was achieving its goals in Mexico.
Are you kidding me?
Considering the importance of the U.S.-Mexico relationship
So the work was
and the level
done,
of US
they
investment,
just didn't
we've
describe the
identified
results
this to
well
be a
enough?
priority recommendation
Are you
for the
fucking kidding
agency.
me?
Second, we have made 6 recommendations to improve INL's program monitoring. Of these, INL has implemented 3, but three related to its wildlife trafficking programs remain unaddressed.
Okay.
Consistent program monitoring helps assess progress and
Yeah,
identify
it
problems
does.
that
It
might
sounds like
prevent
they
the Bureau
are
from
doing some
reaching its
program
goals.
monitoring.
Wildlife trafficking is a crime that fuels corruption and destabilizes communities.
But they haven't taken
In recent
your
years, media
recommendations
reports have
on
alleged that park
everything,
rangers trained by U.S.-funded
which is not
entities had
unusual.
committed human rights abuses, including sexual assault and murder. Since
I'm not
2020,
standing up
state
for the
has taken
INL.
steps to
I just want
enhance
more
safeguards to
information.
prevent these abuses. However, we
not
found
an-
that INL had not
Okay, I'm gonna
conducted
stop.
consistent program monitoring to ensure that these U.S.-funded entities reported on the
That sounds like a
implementation
grant
or
management
effectiveness
problem
of
to
these
me.
safeguards.
That sounds
We
like a
also
grant
found an alleged
management
incident
problem
of
to
sexual
me.
abuse by a ranger that INL was unaware of.
God
INL agreed with our
damn.
recommendations, including that it clarify reporting requirements for human rights abuses. Third, we've made 2 recommendations to INL to conduct program evaluations, or studies that would determine how well a program is working. For example, in 2024, we reported that despite years of support for activities to strengthen the security situation in Haiti, including specific efforts to improve the capacity of Haiti's national police, INL had no formal plans to evaluate the effectiveness of its activities. We recommended that INL conduct such an evaluation, and the Bureau agreed. INL plays a critical role in achieving U.S. security priorities, such as combating transnational crime and supporting rule of law worldwide. INL's effectiveness depends on robust performance management, program monitoring, and program evaluation.
As does
While
every
INL has made
program,
some
by the
progress,
way. This is
important
stupid.
gaps remain. We urge INL to fully implement our recommendations to help ensure that it is spending taxpayer dollars effectively
okay, great.
and achieving U.S. goals.
That's a grant
Thank you, and I'm pleased to
process,
respond to
okay?
your
This is a
questions.
grant process. When the grantee is not doing what you
Thank
want,
you, Mrs. Kenny.
you
And now I
negotiate on
recognize
how you
Mr.
achieve that.
Martinez-Fernandez
Come
for his
on.
opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman Salazar.
Oh my
Councilmember
God, this
Castro,
is so
and members
dumb.
for holding this hearing and inviting me to
God.
participate. The Western Hemisphere is experiencing a period of surging instability, violence, and criminality, largely driven by increasingly powerful criminal organizations. From Haiti's collapse at the hands of gangs,
United States
newfound
government?
narco-violence in a once peaceful Ecuador, increasingly deadly drug cartels in Mexico and Colombia, and more, we are constantly confronted by evidence of a failed status quo for security in our hemisphere. These threats do not stay in Latin America. Instead, they drive increasingly deadly and destabilizing consequences to the United States and directly to the American people. The absence of robust and effective security engagement from the United States in Latin America is a key driver of the current state of affairs. Indeed, the collapse of the hemispheric consensus on counter-narcotics is due in no small part to decisions on the part of Washington to blunt and curb its security cooperation in the Americas away from the core support from regional security forces. This trend is driven in part by
What?
Washington's focus on other foreign conflicts.
So we're not arming Contras? I mean, is that what he's saying?
Challenges that we continue to focus on.
We're
in
not
other parts
arming
of the
people
world.
enough?
However, the impact and inattention that this has brought has been exacerbated by mission drift and the watering down of critical institutions like the State Department's International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Bureau. Additionally, hemispheric security
mean
and stability
what? Wait,
has suffered from the Biden
wait, what?
administration's politicization of U.S. security engagement
Wait,
and
what?
tools in Latin America. The so-called expert consensus on Latin America's security policy has shifted dramatically over the past 2 decades, prompting detrimental changes in the nature and magnitude of U.S. security cooperation. Vocal leaders and activists have successfully framed organized crime in Latin America as primarily being an issue of economic development and judicial institutions.
Don't give them money for
de-emphasizing
economic
in
development,
particular the
just
role
kill
of
people.
enforcement and security forces.
Exacerbated.
Today, at the core of this new conventional wisdom in many circles in Washington
I
and
struggle
in the
with
region
reading sometimes,
is
so I can't make fun of him.
is increasingly the poorly substantiated claim that confronting Latin America's powerful criminal organizations only serve to exacerbate insecurity and criminality. One of the key events that provided support for this view was the spike in violence in Mexico during the
Is
late
he
2000s
dehydrated?
following
He
President
has
Felipe
3 waters in
Calderon's
front of him.
efforts to crack down on the cartels. However, notably today, after over after over a decade during which the Mexican government has pulled back from confronting the cartels, Mexico's homicides rates now exceed the worst years of violence during the Calderon administration. Add to that the over 100,000 overdose deaths in the United States due to fentanyl and other deadly drugs. Indeed, Mexico's
just fentanyl.
disastrous hugs not
Wait,
bullets
what?
strategy on the cartels showcases the dire consequences of
Hugs, not
de-emphasizing
drugs. Are you
enforcement
kidding
and
me?
security forces,
Are you kidding me?
in our security policies in the Western Hemisphere. When President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, with Mexico, the Merida Initiative drifted away from its initial focus of providing training, equipment, and operational support to Mexican security forces, and instead shifted support to, U.S. support shifted
But they start
for
with Big
reform
Pharma.
of the Mexican judicial system increasingly. Then, when President López Obrador fully abandoned the
Excellent.
Merida
Thank you.
Initiative,
Sometimes I just
the new security
stutter too
cooperation
sometimes.
framework further
thing.
de-emphasized security forces.
I don't know.
and the
I'm
role of
fine with it.
enforcement as a core.
I feel like in
aspect of
general I can
security policy.
read. So that's cool.
In both Mexico, Colombia, and elsewhere, the United States failed to push back on regional leaders' abandonment of security cooperation and commitments. This was particularly egregious under the Biden administration, where we saw the increase of
Thanks,
deaths
Obama.
of American people.
He's actually
reaching
the Walmart
100,000,
Pete
each
Buttigieg.
year due to fentanyl and other drugs. And
He's-
yet we did
he's
not
the Temu
adequately
Mayor
push the
Pete.
administration
Walked
in
around the block on a
Mexico,
bright sunny day with a
to
perfect blue
address
sky where the clouds
security
come to die.
threat
But today we are
posed by the
chilly,
cartels.
sunny blue sky bliss.
Even worse,
Love it,
at
Paul
times, the Biden
Langan.
administration leaned into its wrong-headed approach within the region to.
He's like a like a knockoff.
Leaned into this wrong-headed approach
Knockoff Mayor Pete.
on organized
Because
crime
that would
by
help
regional
people. They don't want to
leaders. In
help
the case of
people.
Colombia,
No, they
President
just want to.
Biden
They just want to
actively
arm
drew
people
attention
and kill
away from
people.
Colombia's
I'm sorry, that's the way it
deteriorating
is.
security situation by ending the long-standing program of U.S. monitoring of coca cultivation.
Oh, I'm gonna skip
To
this
confront
page.
the dire threats posed by
just
organized
gonna
crime
skip
in our
this
hemisphere,
page.
the U.S. security assistance through
That's
INL
right.
and other critical agencies should be
I am making
bolstered
fun of
and
him.
refocused
He's
on the
reading.
core mission of counter-narcotics and transnational organized crime.
I don't
Failure
believe
to do
anything
so
that I'm
urgently
reading.
will bring
I was the one who
increasingly
lost
deadly
the short
consequences
straw
for
and had to
Latin
come
America
and
for
talk
the
to
American
Congress.
people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I don't know what else I need to say. And now I'm going to be very
Mr.
intense.
Martinez Fernandez, I now recognize Mr. Isaacson for his opening statement.
Chairwoman Salazar, Ranking
Adam
Member Castro,
Isaacson.
thank you so much for holding this hearing and for inviting me.
Oh, he's American
State
Oversight.
Department's Bureau of INL manages the largest U.S. aid account for security forces in Latin America
Jesus
and the
Christ,
Caribbean.
Max.
Though
Oh,
it pays
I
for
guess
other
it's
things,
March. Still
too.
cold.
Worldwide, it's about $1.5 billion. In our hemisphere, it's at least $600 million. Now, for years, INL was jokingly known as the Drugs and Thugs Bureau. Its success was measured in hectares eradicated and kilos seized and kingpins arrested. That narrow focus reflects its 1980s era statute, and it hasn't really worked. You don't have to take my word for it. Just look at overdose deaths. Look at street prices.
I love this guy.
Meanwhile, our understanding of organized crime and how to combat it has evolved. Yes, drugs are still a top revenue stream for criminal groups, but crime groups also make billions from
great.
gold mining, migrant smuggling, extortion, and more, sometimes with even bigger profits than they're getting from drugs. The drug market itself has shifted towards synthetics like fentanyl and meth, which don't involve most of Latin America outside Mexico. And mass migration has made the question urgent. How can we help people feel safe enough to stay in their own communities? This reframes success. It's no longer just kilos and hectares. It's whether people feel secure. It's whether justice works. It's whether officials fear punishment for corruption. To its credit, INL has shifted. It no longer tries to fight crime the way you'd fight a guerrilla insurgency. While guerrillas fight governments, organized crime infiltrates them and hollows them out by bribing, threatening, co-opting, and corrupting. That makes it a much harder, much more complex fight. Now, in response, INL has begun putting more emphasis on the L, rule of law, and civilian law enforcement, rather than just the N. Funding has increasingly gone to prosecutors, judicial institutions, police academies, oversight bodies, and independent experts and investigators. A whole comprehensive security sector, a table with many legs, and not just the people wearing uniforms. there's a growing realization that real progress is going to take time, and it depends on breaking collusion between government and crime. That's why efforts like the Commission Against Impunity in Guatemala, the CICIG, mattered so much. Brave people made historic anti-corruption gains, and INL was there to support them. Ironically, de-narcotizing INL's mission may be the best way to reduce drug supplies in the long term. But that shift also means we need to rethink some obsolete frameworks like the annual drug certification process. As the 2020 Western Hemisphere Drug Policy Commission noted, it's a relic. It hasn't been used to seriously cut AIDS since the 1990s, and even then, a Republican majority Congress and a Democratic White House scrambled in the late 90s to restore it when security began deteriorating in Colombia. So yes, INL needs reform. WOLA supports a serious rethink to bring the Bureau and its statutes into the mid-21st century. What we don't support is a rushed 90-day review full of abrupt freezes and cuts with no input from partners around the world, many of whom have been risking their lives to fight corruption and crime and really depend on their relationship with us. The little we've seen of the proposed cuts so far is worrying. Aid to police and military agencies looks mostly untouched, but support to civil society, justice institutions, UN programs, that looks like it's cut by about half. That risks turning INL back into what it once was, a little drugs and thugs bureau. And we know where that leads. Brief dips in violence or drug supplies, followed by resurgence. It's just a constant game of whack-a-mole. Organized crime figures get taken down, but organized crime remains strong. Corrupt officials keep operating with impunity. People keep fleeing their homes, often coming here. I'm not asking to preserve the status quo. Frankly, I can't defend much of it because I can't see it. Public reporting on INL aid has become vague, inconsistent, and far less quantitative. It's hard to track where the money goes and what it achieves, and reporting requirements, if we do reauthorize INL, have to improve. That right now, oversight is difficult, and it makes the whole program hard to defend when an administration comes to power questioning its entire value. This committee can help. First, it can urge INL to keep expanding its focus on organized crime, corruption, and citizen security, not just counter-narcotics. Second, it can press for much better transparency. Third, it can insist that any reform effort be thoughtful, inclusive, and deliberate, not a 90-day rollback. There's lots of space for bipartisan agreement here, I think. I look forward to exploring that here and any other time that you'd like in the future. Thank you again for organizing this discussion.
And thank you, Mr. Isaacson. And now for your testimony, I now recognize myself for 5 minutes of questioning. And I am delighted to hear, Mr. Isaacson, that you believe certain quotes here that INL needs to be modernized, needs to be reformed, and that maybe they are just following some of the precepts of the 1980s. But specifically, I agree that they are not, that they need to be reorganized and there needs to be some revamped. But let's go to the last 4 years. Do you really believe that talking to the Guatemalans and to the Salvadorians about gender ideology or the pronouns or how
actually, it saves lives, you stupid cunt. Have you not done any reading on it? Did you read any of the evaluation reports that were undoubtedly created around all of that programming?
So explain how.
Did you read any of that? Do you understand how those programs work? Because they do.
It actually was about gender and identity and things like that. If it's, we don't have that data.
The main focus, the Guatemalans were complaining.
In terms of
That's
dollar
not
amounts?
true.
Of course,
That's not true.
In terms of political willingness and desire to infiltrate these forces with our ideology, the American Biden administration ideology. Don't you think that we did a disservice?
That's an ideology and not helping people who are persecuted in their societies?
Where most victims are women?
Yeah.
You need
How can you be
more of a
talking
gender
about
focus.
sex
If you're
when you're
fighting
trying to
gender-based
fight human
violence,
trafficking? How do you
that's
do
true.
that?
I just need to know, how much of the programming really did go in that direction instead of like Joint Task Force
But they
Alpha
should
in
go in that
Guatemala.
direction because it's building a strong community.
Perfect example.
Resilience against
by the name of
involvement.
Consuelo Porras. Do I know her? No, I don't. But I know that she's the AG of the country. So why don't we work with her? Oh, because she's too conservative. Who are we?
What are you talking about?
To say that to the Guatemalans. Why?
I don't know if Consuelo Porras is
Oh, no,
hated.
it's quote. Everything I'm saying is quoted. Consuelo Porras is detested.
Oh, I think she is detestable.
It was
Yeah.
okay. Well, but who are we, the Americans, to come
Well,
and say, oh,
maybe there's a
Consuelo is
good
not the person
reason.
that you need to work with? She's the AG.
I've never heard that she was held at arm's length because she favored free markets or
She was too
because she was
conservative.
conservative, because of significant
conservative.
Probably
corruption,
human rights
what I said.
abuses.
You know what I'm telling you. So please
No,
help me
I don't.
understand why the Biden
You're wrong.
administration wanted to concentrate its resources when it talks to reforming and securing.
Because when you build a
Vene-
stronger
the,
society, it resists
Salvadorian,
corruption
Guatemalan
and
police
organized
concentrated
crime.
on something that had nothing to
She
do
doesn't know what
with
she's talking
national
about. Like, this is
security for the
academic.
United
This
States.
is
My impression was
This
that
is
INL
data.
and the Justice Department worked very hard with, not with Consuelo, but with the rest of the public ministry in Guatemala on something called Joint Task Force Alpha, which was a big effort to get at the nodes of the network of
Sorry, Adam
migrant
knows what he's
smuggling,
talking
and they've
about,
actually taken out a
cunt.
lot of migrant smugglers, working with the Attorney
Exactly,
General's office in
Karen.
Guatemala
Trans
in the
people
last
are
few
the
years, and
most
Trump
likely to be
administration
INL
is
would,
expanding
did
that.
you know this
prostituted.
would give money to the
Building a
NGOs in
strong
Guatemala to
civil
help the
society
migrants go
helps.
have a smoother ride while they
Period.
were going through Guatemala and getting to Mexico.
I think that would have been illegal in Guatemala, where they actually arrest and deport more than 20,000, 30,000 migrants a year back into Honduras.
9 million went through it. All right,
Yeah, a
so
lot do
let's
get
go.
through.
Let's go
Yeah.
to El Salvador.
I love this guy.
Bukele. What do you think? What ranking do you give to Bukele from 1 to 10?
I would give him.
Why
I
not just
would
say
give him
that's?
a 4,
I'm not here to
perhaps.
give
I
my
think he's a
opinion.
brilliant communicator, but I do worry about checks
What
and
about the
balances.
communicator? What has he done with the country?
He has put 3% of the male population in prison, which, yeah, by doing so, did eradicate, for now, a lot of the gangs.
And
do
you
worry
and
about
I
the future
agree
of
that if there is
democracy.
one innocent guy in the Sicot, I was the first one who told him,
No,
you gotta get him
economic
out,
conditions
because
are
we
what
don't want
create
innocent
gangs,
people
by
in
the
jail.
way.
But the
All
thing
right?
is that, Sicot is full of
Gangs
people who are full of tattoos
flourish
that are revealing
in
who they were and what they did.
economic
Each drop
disparity.
meant one murder. So
God,
do you think he
these
did
people are so
something right?
dumb. Like, this is embarrassing.
If these people were facing judges,
It is totally
and
embarrassing.
if their families knew what was going on with them, it would be right. But right now, almost everybody there is pretrial, and there's not even dates for most of their trials. So yeah, they need a fair shake. I mean,
Yeah,
it
what
was
about the-
right
I
to
agree with
clean
you
out
that
the
everyone
streets.
needs due
Hostages.
process. Yes, sir.
And that's just not happening right now.
No, it's not
All
happening.
right, but what about us working with him? And maybe if INL would have done its job,
Well,
then
do
Bukele
it
would
now.
have been able to really help.
What?
It would help him to do a better job, don't you
What?
think?
No,
Talking
that's
about
stupid. Oh my
diversity
God.
and inclusion.
Why
and
do they
pronouns.
even
I think
answer
one of INL's
this?
biggest obstacles actually there is, and I actually support it, is language that both Republicans and Democrats put in the foreign aid bill, saying that half of aid, I believe it's half, to El Salvador is cut until they can certify that the human rights situation is good and is improving. And right now, more than 300 people dying in the jails in the last 3 years, and widespread allegations of torture. It's been hard to certify that.
What happens to the human rights of the people who were outside?
No,
being
we're
killed
not
by those
talking
gang
about that.
members, which is why he got 90% of transparent.
Oh, yeah.
and,
Oh, stop. Plot. Oh,
internationally
this needs to
absurd
stop. She's a
elections.
Bukele fucking
yeah, if I was a
simp.
The
shopkeeper being
Salvadorians love the
extorted.
guy, so
She
why
fuck
do we have to
supports
hate him? Who are
Bukele.
we to say to this guy, don't do it that way?
I think we're just worried about what it's going to look
Human
like in 5
rights.
years. But yeah, right now, if I'm a shopkeeper who had to
that's
pay,
Because
their-
it's
that's their
human
reason
rights.
That they should be concerned
Period.
about what they're going to be looking like 5 years from now. That's their concern, not ours. We're here to help them have a better.
Oh my
police
God, this
force.
is so simplistic
All right?
and
You
idiotic.
agree with that, right?
we're certainly here to help them have a better
This is
police
so
force, but we
idiotic.
don't want to be funding abuses in the short
Yeah,
term.
she's fucking Bukele.
I think that
That's what it
I am,
is. This is her.
I'm
Wipe your
exceeding
chin,
my time.
honey.
I yield back now. I'm going
Wipe
to
your chin.
recognize
Take
the
off that
ranking
pearl
member
necklace
for 5
Bukele
minutes.
just
Thank you.
gave you. Get the fuck out. Cunt. How disgusting. I'm disgusted by this.
All right. Thank you, Chairwoman. Yeah, I want to take up this issue really quickly because, we disagree, Maria, on this. I don't think there's ever been a bias of the United States against conservative leaders and in favor of leftist leaders. In fact, when you look at the history of the U.S. involvement in Latin America has often, the United States, unfortunately, in decades past, worked to undermine the leadership of leaders on the left and treated leaders on the right as friends. And in fact, supported what were some of the most brutal dictatorships, like the Pinochet ruling in Chile. And so, when we think about how we provide U.S. assistance, how we provide taxpayer money, the way we should be thinking about it is who is operating consistent with U.S. values and what we stand for. So democracy, freedom, respect for human rights. Really, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, whether you're on the left or the right as a leader, we ought to support leaders who are pursuing those things. And
That's
so
disgusting, Jim. Allowing DeSantis is
Consuelo
backing a law that would
Porras,
let
as I
14-year-olds work
understand,
in a
have been
factory
sanctioned
at night.
for severe corruption. That's why we're not working with her, not because she's got a
I
certain
know.
ideology.
Pinochet we helped overthrow Allende.
And Bukele also, I think it's true. I mean, he has gotten a lot of crime off the streets and has scared a lot of people, especially young men. But so has Xi Jinping in China. And so, you know, if the question is, well, why don't we just let people do what they're going to do? Okay, I get that. But the question for us is, are we going to back them up with money to commit human rights abuses and other things that we would never allow for in the United States ourselves? Now, bear in mind, in the last few weeks, we've seen some disturbing instances of people literally been picked off the street for having exercised their First Amendment rights by government agents who don't identify themselves, who aren't dressed in uniform, and who barely present credentials, if at all. Those are the kinds of activities that you're used to seeing in countries that violate people's rights. So just, you know, with that disagreement, let me get into a question really quick. Ms. Kenney, as you know, the administration is conducting multiple reviews of foreign assistance programs, and I believe those programs have been incredibly disruptive and that the review has not been done in good faith. In 2019, the first Trump administration did something similar on a smaller scale. They unilaterally froze $400 million in foreign assistance funding in Central America for over 14 months. At the time, I, along with other colleagues, requested the GAO assess the impacts of that freeze. The GAO
Doggy's
determined
calling.
that
Be
many
right back.
programs, including State Department INL bureau programs, had been adversely affected. And based on your experience with the 2019 freeze, do you expect adverse effects from the ongoing freeze on many INL programs?
Thank you for that question. Yes, when we reviewed the freeze in 2019, we found that there were a number of adverse effects. To the State Department, we found that about 65 or 39% of INL programs actually suffered adverse effects, where they had to reduce the geographical region in which they were implementing programs. They had to reduce the number of beneficiaries who could participate in trainings. They had to reduce the quality of programs. And programs that relied on implementing partners suffered even more consequences because they had to lay people off and they were unable to pick up those programs when the funding resumed. However, that funding was really just a freeze of one-year funding, and in a lot of ways, those programs were able to continue because of funding that was still available in the pipeline from prior year's funding. We haven't had an opportunity to review the funding freeze that is occurring right now, but my understanding is that those programs aren't able to access prior year funding either, and so my understanding is that they're not continuing at all. We haven't had. I'm sorry.
Sure, no, and thank you for that. And let me ask a follow-up really quick. Will the GAO be willing to conduct a review of the ongoing freeze and cancellation of hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign assistance programs?
Yes, we'd be happy to do that work.
Thank you so much. With that, I yield back, Chairwoman.
Thank you, Ranking Member Castro, and now give the opportunity to Representative Lawler from the state of New York.
Thank you, Chairwoman. It's common practice for transnational criminal organizations in South and Central America to source precursor chemicals from China and synthesize illicit substances like fentanyl. These criminal organizations then traffic them into the United States, where they have infiltrated far too many communities and led to unimaginable tragedies for a lot of families across our nation. 70,000 Americans are dying on an annual basis from fentanyl overdose. Mr. Martinez-Fernandez, how do you assess INL's role in stopping the influx of deadly fentanyl into the United States?
Well, clearly, INL and the U.S. government is not adequately acting either on resources or or focus to stop the flow of fentanyl. As you mentioned, over 70,000 just overdose death just from fentanyl. When you add in all the other illicit drugs, 100,000. And so I think there's a very real resource question that has to be addressed. There's also a partnership and cooperation side to that, where our relationship with Mexico, particularly over the past 4 years under the Biden administration, cooperation, security cooperation, was almost non-existent. They even offers to support port security to identify fentanyl precursors coming in were rejected by the Mexican government. And the challenges of migration, which grew out of control under the Biden administration as well, led to a deprioritization, in my opinion, of the fentanyl threat with dire consequences. Now, President Trump has obviously rallied significant resources, particularly from the Department of Defense to the border. I think that's an important aspect of the confronting this threat. But we also need to press the Mexican government to take action. And there's also certainly the administration is making progress on that front and bringing to bear some economic tools. I think INL is going to play an important role because at some point we need to restore the security relationship with Mexico to a functional arrangement with actually targeting the cartels rather than just having symbolic actions by the Mexican government be the sum total of the relationship, which is essentially what we've seen for the past 4 years.
So what can INL do to address China's role related to the precursor chemicals that are exported into Mexico and other parts of the Western Hemisphere?
So I think certainly with the Chinese presence in Mexico is also significant. So that there's action to go after some of the brokers as well as some of the trade infrastructure, which is utilized by the Chinese in Mexico to facilitate the flow of illicit precursors. I think that more action also needs to be done in Asia on this front. We've seen movement of illicit fentanyl supply chains even out of China. Unfortunately, we don't have a cooperative relationship on this issue with the government in China. So there are significant limitations on INL's ability to act there. But I think ensuring that in Mexico in particular, we're confronting the presence of Chinese criminal organizations, as well as further south. We've already seen in countries like Guatemala the movement of these illicit supply chains of fentanyl to new countries, and we need to make sure that we're reinforcing border security, port security, and those security relationships to make sure that it doesn't just migrate to another country.
In what way is the INL working with other entities within the U.S. government, like the DEA, on this particular issue, and how can they improve upon that to really crack down on this? Obviously, we have a demand issue in this country that is part of the problem of the deadly flow of fentanyl.
Yeah. So I think there is some important cooperation with other agencies, particularly the Department of Homeland Security, on the issue of border security within the region and ensuring that regional partners can have those capacities to ensure that those flows don't move through their country without their ability to intercept them. And on the U.S. side and the demand side that you referred to, I think there.
Did I miss anything good?
As I understand it, there's some conversations happening here in Congress about potential changes as far as consequences. Judicial consequences
Lee,
in the United
I'll drop some
States,
info in Discord, but keep your ears open on tariffs on Chinese-built vessels. This is impacting the ability to export U.S. coal, putting $130 billion of shipments at risk.
With the consequences that people face.
Trump's promises of supporting coal will fail
Thank you, Representative Lawler. And
if these
now
tariffs
I
on Chinese vessels go
give the word
forward.
to Representative Stanton of the state of Arizona. You have five.
Thank you very much.
recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The fentanyl crisis is especially acute in my home state of Arizona, where thousands of Arizonans die from opioid overdose every single year. I know my colleagues and I across the aisle agree. We need to do more to stop the flow of fentanyl and other deadly narcotics into the United States of America. That's why I'm at a loss to understand why the Trump administration has moved to cut funding for the State Department's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs work in Mexico. Drastic cuts. INL works
This sounds like
across law
such a
enforcement
mess, Lee
agencies,
and Jim.
intergovernmental
Such a
agencies,
mess.
and with the courts in our partner countries to disrupt the illicit drug trafficking and bring criminals to justice. Under previous administrations and with funding approved in a bipartisan manner, Mexico has been the third largest recipient of INL funds. INL supports more than 100 projects working to combat fentanyl trafficking and transnational crime by providing services, training, and much-needed equipment. One project that has benefited from the INL has deployed cargo scanners and drug testing equipment to Mexico's port of Manzanillo, critical technology to detect and interdict precursor chemicals from the People's Republic of China. Another INL project supported a recent operation in Tucson, Arizona, that led to the arrest of drug trafficking leader and 6 other operatives, a good return on taxpayer investment. Since the Trump administration's freeze on foreign aid, only 15% of INL's programs in Mexico have received waivers to resume their work, and many of those have not yet received payment. As former ambassador and Marine helicopter pilot John Feely phrased it recently, quote, "They shot the golden goose right in the leg," unquote. Make no mistake about it. The Trump administration is hamstringing our response to fentanyl in the region, and while using this crisis as a justification to raise taxes on working families through the misguided across-the-board tariffs on Mexico. Mr. Isaacson, how does this massive
will kill
cut to
the Port
INL
of Baltimore,
program hamper our
28
ability
million
to stem the flow of fentanyl into the United States?
I
definitely
I
deals a
really
blow to
want
our
to do
efforts
some
against
heavy
fentanyl.
research
This
on
is the
what
hardest drug
the
challenge we've
reporters
ever
are saying
faced.
in the
All pure
economic
fentanyl
space
that's
today.
consumed in the United States in a
I
year
really
can fit
do.
in the beds of 2 or 3 pickup
haven't
trucks
checked this
spread out
morning.
across a 2,000-mile border. Unfortunately, about
just a
two-thirds
mess,
of it coming
and
right
it's
to your
all
state
like
right now.
innuendo. Right?
In order to fight
They're
this,
trying to
it's
make
not just a
decisions
matter of
about
scanners at the
business
border.
on
You need
innuendo and kind
cooperation
of
from Mexico
implication
on everything you
and
named. Investigators,
things that can
prosecutors,
change
courts,
at the very last
intelligence,
minute.
all capital letters.
That's the thing.
And
You can't
cut that
prepare
off
for something
in
that
90
isn't
days
really
and then maybe restart it.
sure.
You have to restart everything all over again. It's incredibly disruptive.
I appreciate that. Now, I have, in my time in public life, both here in Congress and formerly as mayor of Phoenix, Arizona,
And we're
have
going to
been
talk
a
about
friend
that
to Mexico,
tomorrow.
making
We're
the
going to
case
talk
that we
about
need to
like
have a stronger
what does the
economic
big
unit
picture look
between,
like, and what are some of the
US
people
United
saying
States,
that
Mexico,
understand the big
Canada,
picture
and that's
better
how
than
we're gonna
I
win
do,
this economic
certainly.
battle with
And
China.
you know,
As a result, I've been a critic
and get
of the recent
Lee's
judicial
in
reforms
input
in
and stuff like
Mexico,
that as she
which I
can.
think is is
So
a step backwards in terms
tomorrow
of promoting
it'll
US
be a
investment
real.
in
I hope it'll be a
Mexico.
good learning
INL
session.
has helped to train Mexican institutions to build and present strong legal cases against
Something
organized
tells me
crime.
it's important.
Mexico's forensic
Even though
labs
all,
and prisons
you know,
are
to me,
accredited
the
to
human
reach
rights
higher
abuses
standards
are the most
for forensic
important,
testing due to INL support.
like in terms of
US officials
emotional
help to train
energy
police
and kind of,
investigators
you know,
in Mexico City,
care.
reducing
But
violent
I
crime
am
in
concerned
Mexico
about
City
the economic
by
picture
58%
and
in partnership with now
trying to
President
understand that a
Sheinbaum.
little bit
and
better.
INL support helped Mexico law schools update their
Because that's
curriculums
going to
include
also
Mexico's
impact
criminal law
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
reform. These
That's
offices
gonna
that train police
impact,
and prosecutors and relied on INL funds are now
everyday
cut
life.
drastically.
That's why
by the
I care.
dismantling
I want to
of
understand how it's
foreign
going to
assistance. So
impact.
another question for
You know,
Mr.
I don't have
Isaacson.
any
You hosted a podcast
investments.
last October about Mexico's
I don't have
constitutional
any, so
reforms,
I'm not. You know,
where you
I
opened
watch
by
the
saying,
stock
quote,
market more out of
"Promise to be
curiosity
serious
than
setbacks in
anything.
the
But I
struggle to
know
hold
people, of
powerful
course,
people and
do
institutions accountable
have
for
retirement plans and other
corruption."
things.
How do Mexico's constitutional changes,
So I do kinda
including
care about all
reorganization of
that,
National Guard
you
and judicial
know.
reforms, concern you? Maybe you
And
could
I
go
feel
on
like
a little bit.
changes
For those who
are
haven't listened to the
afoot.
podcast, go on a little bit more about the threat of the constitutional reforms.
Sure, and I
Every
hope you
day,
call in
one
my
of the
colleague who
admins
runs our
seems
Mexico
to
program, Stephanie
reinforce
Brewer,
for
who
me
really
that
knows this stuff. But
Mar-a-Lago
Mexico's-
Accord
they
is
just
really
changed
the ultimate
their
goal right
judiciary
now,
so that
and they're
judges are now
very well down
popularly
the road
elected.
to making
Like,
it
people are going
happen.
to come and vote for a long list of judges. A justice system, especially when they're working on these very complicated, very dangerous cases against these networks of corruption and powerful people who are willing to kill them, need to be free of political pressures and need to be autonomous. And this just dealt a strong blow to that. As well, substituting police and detectives and people who are in the community with National Guard troops who rotate in and out, that also makes it harder to actually, you can find crimes when they're happening, but you can't really get to the root of who is behind them.
Thank you very much. Madam Chair, I yield back.
Thank you. I now recognize Representative Shreve of the state of Arizona.
Representative Shreve, Madam Chairwoman, is from the state of Indiana and is happy to be here.
Or state of Indiana, I'm sorry. Not even a downgrade, no.
She's not paying attention.
Indiana is
Okay, she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, sir.
Madam Chair, we agree. I thank the witnesses for being here. And I have a question that, in fairness, I'll address to Ms. Kinney, because I wasn't in the room to hear the testimony from our other witnesses. But I appreciate all of you sharing time and expertise with us.
Get to it.
Of course, INL defines its core mission as keeping America
All right.
safe by
I got to be
crime,
honest. I just
illegal
looked at the
drugs,
time.
And
So I think stopping on a Republican is a good thing. I really do apologize. I do have an appointment out in the real world this morning, so I do need to wrap awkwardly. But this is probably as good a place to break as any, because he's going to be an idiot for about 5 minutes. And then we're going to have to... Yeah, she is at par with the new leadership. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I have this new setup. I need to figure it out. I'll do that today too, when I have time. Gosh, I know it's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being generous. Oh, it'll go fine. It'll be fun. It's a girlfriend, so I'm going to enjoy seeing her. I'm looking forward to seeing her. So yeah, today at 4, so that's what, 1 p.m.? Yeah. 1 p.m. Pacific. I might be back in time to do whatever he's doing to listen in on that Boasberg case. I wonder if they're going to let us do that. I think they probably will. You're going to the Heritage Foundation protest next Monday. Jim Nalgren, that's wonderful. I think that's so great. The Mar-a-Lago Accord sounds like a path to becoming like Cuba. It's definitely a path to really secure the kleptocracy, right? Or whatever. What's the corporate ownership of the country? What's that? Is that kleptocracy when the corporations own the country, basically? Is that what that is? Kinda, sorta. That's great, Jim. I'm really proud of you. Oh, hi, Paul J. I love you. I'm glad you're doing okay. Fascism. Oh, that's called fascism? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we're headed towards full branded fascism. Our fascism will be branded. It'll contain some good corporate style guides. They had a great protest last week. That's fantastic. We got to think about movies for tomorrow night too, by the way. Tomorrow night is movies at the Discord. So please, communist. I thought it was, I don't know. I have to look up kleptocracy, but I'll do that. Tomorrow should be fun. I hope I do a good job and present the information, or at least, discover it with you in a coherent fashion. I will strive to do so. But we'll see. Yeah. I do like my thumbnail for it. I used Jennifer's Body type, the advertising for Jennifer's Body, that movie, which I really love. And I put my head on it. I put my head on Jennifer's Body. Thanks, Gimme Coffee. I hope you guys have a good day too. So we have to think about movies for tomorrow night, okay? Max, if you're still there, if you could just throw a really great, no pressure, but we love your movies. Oh, all right, babe. No problem, Paul. Lurking is very welcome. Lurking is very welcome. I love the loungers, and I love you too. And that is what I want to do. I love the loungers, and I love you too. I'll think about it. Great. Yeah. I love you, Max. Butterflies are free. Thank you for your positive energy. I know Butterflies has great energy. I love her. Love. Old friend. All right. So thanks for coming and sharing this morning. I'm sorry I was a little like bumpy, but bumpy. Lolo 25 on the inside base of the solar light. Oh, I love it. I don't know what it means, but I absolutely love it. All right. I'll see you guys later. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll put all the links and all that good stuff. And then we'll go from there. Oh, I do love you, butterflies. She's a good egg. She's what I would call a good egg. Great troll. Really does a great job. All right. You guys have fun too. And I will see you very, very soon.